5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this week's edition of Powerbomb Weekly. On this week's show, the guys will talk about Sasha and Naomi stepping out on Raw. Is it all a work? Or is there more going on behind the scenes than we know about? Plus, the guys will look at Ric Flair's final match, or at least his final match in the month. They'll size up the history of the legend. And finally, the guys will also talk about fan attacks at wrestling shows. Fan attacks are increasing. How safe are your favorite wrestlers? And as always, in addition to all of that, the guys will break down your favorite wrestling programs and the biggest wrestling action from the last week. But before we kick off today's show, let me introduce to you your hosts. Woo! This man is the Ric Flair of Pro Wrestling Podcast, a 16-time world champion behind the mic. He is the unimitatable. He is the great. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Michael Burdett. And ladies and gentlemen, his co-host. Well, he's the Dink the Clown of Pro Wrestling Podcasts. And has a haircut to boot. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Joey Marcello. And now, ladies and gentlemen, a reminder, tonight's show, as always, brought to you in part by Kitsap Great Escape, the only escape room in Kitsap County. And now, ladies and gentlemen, on with tonight's show.
Yes, because if he's going to give me Doink the Clown music, I'm going to use the evil Doink the Clown music.
We had a child incursion for a moment. We had to go check on that. I have a stain on my shirt right here that just is brightening up, and I really don't like it. And I'm just like, I don't look as professional as I normally do. And I try and bring, a little bit of class to the joint around here,
Yeah.
Even though it's 100 degrees outside and I'm wearing a beanie.
Yes. Almost got through the whole intro like smooth. I just had the one little hiccup.
Oh, that's all right.
Getting there. Every week it's getting there.
It's getting better. Yeah.
So this is the show that we weren't gonna have that we're gonna have that now we're having because why not?
A bunch of stuff happened that we were just like, I guess we got to do this, man.
Why not? I mean, because you just can't take a week off when the entire wrestling world just starts imploding on itself.
We're Lacey Evansing it tonight. Just, here we go.
Anyway. But before... there are so many really good memes about the whole Sasha thing, but I'm going to save those for next week because we got to talk about it before we just start unloading the memes.
Okay, yes.
But I did find a couple of good ones. First of all, how many marriage breakers can you get in one photo? They just need to put Riddle in that picture. And who doesn't love...
Well...
Sorry, go ahead.
Don't forget we need Gigi Dolan in there too. Right?
Yes, right.
Yes, okay.
And who doesn't just love classic pro wrestling from the Nintendo? I actually showed the kids how to, because we have the Switch, and you can go to the classic games, and that one's So
that's one of them. Nice.
They were playing Starman.
Nice.
Which, kick.
It's a classic game.
It is
a classic game.
Yeah, I just thought that was funny.
No, I laughed. I have a chuckle. See?
All right, so
What's sincere?
so
Woo!
Ric Flair is gonna have his final match.
His
again.
final match
His
again.
final match.
Because the Shawn Michaels WrestleMania retirement match was not the final. That lasted, like 4 months before he went to TNA and then started wrestling again.
Right.
And then he had his final match for TNA against Sting. And now we have the final match, who has an opponent that is yet to be determined because, as it turns out, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, who rumors have come out that he's not in the best of health, has apparently turned down this option. I assume it's going to be Sting again because...
So, last I heard it was going to be Jay Lethal, but they thought it was going to be Jay Lethal only because he was training with Jay Lethal, because Jay Lethal was getting him in shape. Now I've heard it's going to be a tag match.
I mean, if you do a tag match, I think it'll just devalue the idea of Ric Flair's last match, I mean, I know he was part of the Horsemen, but Flair's not really known for tag team wrestling.
No.
It's the Nate. And I do like that Conrad Thompson, who is his son-in-law, who is producing
this is a whole son-in-law
of them. But he has said they're going to present Rick in the best light humanly possible. They're not going to do too far out of the realm of what you can expect.
So he's going to fall on his face.
He's going to fall on his face. I fully believe Flair will blade one
no.
more time.
What?
Or either that, or he will just bleed out of his sweaty pores because they're so, scar tissue.
I think if he blades himself, he will probably die.
I don't know,
There's
man.
not a lot of blood left in that
Did you
corpse.
see the TNA matches? Hey, hon. Did you see the TNA matches where he bled like every single match that he had, and it was just like buckets of blood?
Yeah, but he's like, what, 80 now?
He's got to be 70, 75.
How old is Ric Flair? 73.
Okay, Rick is 73 years old. I still think, what's his name? Fucking Gypsy Joe, the guy who got his head bashed in by New Jack, I think was still the oldest professional working wrestler person at the time, because he was like 80.
I mean, I just don't know who Ric Flair's going to fight at this point. I mean,
it would make sense to have a classic opponent, but realistically, all of these people that are in this picture right here, well, they're not dead, but they can't work.
No.
These guys, Arn Anderson can't do it. Lex Luger obviously can't do it. I mean, realistically, the only long-term opponent that Flair has that could still get in the ring and do something would be Sting,
who proves it weekly on AEW.
Yeah, but I mean, it's the legacy of Ric Flair. I mean, it's crazy to think that he's been doing it for so long. He's still one of, if not the greatest of all time, and he's gonna do one more match apparently. I think he just wants to die in the ring.
I think he literally does. He wants to Mickey Rourke it. Warhorse, what was his name in the Mickey Rourke in the movie The Wrestler?
The Wrestler, yeah. Ram.
The Bull.
Yeah.
Randy the Bull. He wants to Randy the Bullet.
Was it Randy the Bull? Was it? No, it was Randy. Whatever.
Randy the Ram.
Randy the Ram. Yes,
Yeah.
Randy the Ram.
Bull Ram.
Yes. I just remember the knockoff parody thing that they did. What was it? I'm blanking.
Yeah, we're gonna do a lot of that, by the way.
Yeah, sorry.
So just we're gonna get this out of the since we're talking about dementia, with Ric Flair right now, right over here. Since we're talking about dementia, I just got off a 3-day vacation. I got on a plane at 6:30 this morning, so I'm tired. I put the show together. I had half the show ready to go before I went on vacation. I put everything together in the last 3.5 hours. He's got to work tonight, so he's super tired. So we're both
on mandatory overtime. So yes, I will be leaving the show to go directly to work until 7 a.m.
So we're both a little out of it, but hey, we're trained professionals.
That's just excuses.
We know what we're doing.
We're bringing you guys top quality content. It's like our job now. We don't get paid, but it's like a job.
It is. And
yeah.
That we love to do.
But it's not a chore. It's not a chore. It's still fun. It's still real to me, damn it.
It's still real to me.
And Ric Flair's making it real because this 73-year-old man is going to take a bump.
Now, I'm not gonna lie. I would like to see the roast of Ric Flair. I think that's gonna be.
That'll be fun.
That'll-
I mean, I worry about where that's at. I mean, obviously they've tried to make some comments about the Plane Ride from Hell episode, and I don't know how that's gonna go. That could go really one way or the other.
It'll be fine.
I mean,
it'll be fine.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, and honestly, I'm not justifying it. And I don't think he was, but I do kind of agree with Conrad that the story had been out for like 20 years. To re-sensationalize a lot of it was, that was a big hit for them to take.
And Marshall, don't worry, we are going to talk about Sasha Banks.
Oh, absolutely.
So Marshall, I see that you are watching with us, and you wanted it. You're the whole reason we're doing our show.
Yes.
For you.
I mean, we got some eyeballs on right now, which is pretty good.
Right, don't jinx it.
Oh, that's right. Every time we look over, we're like, oh, we've got a ton of viewers. They just dip. Like, nope.
Well, hopefully your wife and Marshall don't leave, because I know those two are watching. All right.
Okay.
So, when we know, you'll hear it from what we'll talk about when we know who the opponent is, and we'll talk about how we think it's going to be.
I think it'll be Sting. I mean, it's the only... I mean, he's wrestled Sting in his final matches several times now at this point. But Sting is probably, like I said, he's the only guy working who's Ric Flair's most noticeable, greatest opponent.
See, we went from 3 to 2.
No, but we're back up. But, I mean, I really think that Sting is the only one who makes sense. I think if they put him in there with any new guy, it's... I don't know, because it's not going to make anybody... If you put Wardlow in there, it doesn't make sense, because unless Rick's just literally going to take 40 power bombs, and that's going to be the end of the match. So you can't put him in there with a young guy, because it's not going to make that guy.
There's no passing the torch to this.
I mean, granted, every single person... I will say this. I know this sounds weird for it, but... If they called me, I'd wrestle Ric Flair's last match, because then I would be forever associated with Ric Flair's last match. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't matter who they call. I think if you're in a health position, unlike Ricky the Dragon possibly, to be able to do it, you have to take it, right?
Right.
You have to say, my legacy will be forever tied to Ric Flair's legacy of the last one. We do a lot of air quotes for this discussion.
Yeah, because it never sticks.
It's like Kiss. They just don't go away. They just keep sucking the life out of their fans.
But he did say, I'm going to walk that aisle one last time to prove. So, okay, before we move on to the next topic, does Ric Flair go over on his last match?
I've always kind of been on the old school, samurai style of you lose your last match. I've always been in that mindset for me. I hate when guys retire and then come back and things like that. That's why I know, associating it to the MMA world right now, obviously you're not big on this, but I have talked about him before in the past on the show, Khabib Nurmagomedov. I mean, he retired 29-0. He lost his father. His mother said, I don't want you to fight anymore. You can't fight without father. So he's retired. And ever since then, like every week after he retired, the reports are, Khabib's coming back. Dana's throwing so much money at him. He's trying to get him back. He's guaranteed he's going to come back. If his protege wins this fight or does this and blah, blah, blah. And Khabib's made some comments about, I could do this or that. But recently he basically said, he's like, look, I've been gone for a year almost now. I'm doing my own thing over here. Retirement for me is final. Let the other guys do their thing. Stop talking every week about, Khabib's coming back, right?
Right.
So I hope that mindset sticks if people choose to do that. I mean, he is in a healthy position where he could come back. But guys like Kurt Angle and stuff with the broken necks constantly and things, it was just like, I think you get to a point where you have to give it up. But I do think your last match is an L. I think that solidifies that story, your last match. I know people want to win the last match to give everybody the happiness,
So was that okay so you say that, but like, look what just happened with Steve Austin.
Yeah, but Steve Austin had to go over.
Okay.
I mean, I can easily say that's an exception to the rule. But Steve Austin returning after 20 years in Texas.
Right, he's got to go over.
At WrestleMania main event.
This is going to happen in North Carolina.
Yeah, I know, but it's just, I think I think the ambiance around him doing it is going to be bigger than should he win.
Okay.
But the other thing too is Flair don't care about wins or
Oh,
losses.
no, he doesn't.
He's
And-
never cared.
And apparently,
That's why he's a 16-time world champ. Okay, you want the belt off me? Sure.
and apparently, and I'll do this as a homework thing. I've mentioned this in the past, and I've never actually done the homework. But apparently, you can tell if he's going to win or lose based on the color of tights he's wearing.
Oh, the red or the blue tights?
right.
Yeah.
So we'll know.
Okay. We'll know what he comes out in. Apparently, he's going to have brand new custom ring gear and thing. I think that's going to be awesome. Like, I'm excited. I hope it's not one of those, oh, I wish that hadn't happened
Right.
kind of moments.
All right. So next, let's talk about this Armando Alejandro. I purposely did not put his picture up here. I didn't want to give him any other press other than, but this man has been he's been twice arrested at the
Performance
Center
for stalking.
and now he showed up at Impact, and so it's a little hard to read, but this one happened in 2015 when he was actually shot by a police officer because he had a knife, and then he was arrested 2 years later again 5 years later for trespassing. In the first one, he was stalking AJ Lee.
Yes.
And in the second one, I thought he was stalking either Paige or I think it was Paige.
Is he the same one that Lacey and all them got in the argument with on the audio in the parking lot?
That might be, it might be that one.
Because I think that was Lacey and somebody else that was there that basically told him to, piss off.
But over the weekend, he went to Impact, and it says, the article says Alejandro, better known as the WWE Performance Center Stalker. I mean,
Like, how? It's Florida. I cannot imagine it's that hard to
Florida man
get, a massive. I mean, obviously restraining orders aren't doing anything.
Well, this one didn't happen in Florida.
No, I know, but
Yeah.
the Performance Center's there. But that's what I'm saying. It's like, how is he not in jail for many, many years or in some type of mental health facility to get well?
And that's the other thing. So, we talked a couple of weeks ago with Seth Rollins guy, and then he showed up again.
Yeah.
And, you got Sonya Deville, who happened to her a couple of years ago. So, if you're watching our show and you enjoy wrestling, and you have this thought, hey, I think that this person really wants to talk to me, and I should, hide in their luggage. Don't!
No, they don't. They're people. That's the thing. Celebrities, at the end of the day, are people. If that's one thing from this trial that everyone's talking about that's happening, is that they're fucked up people. People are just fucked up, and they're normal people who had a fucked up life. And that's the thing, is that wrestlers, performers, celebrities, musicians, anybody,
They're still people.
they're still people. They don't want you at their home, at 2 o'clock in the morning coming through their window. And you might come through the wrong window on the wrong night, So it's not worth it. It's really not worth it. If you can get an autograph, fine, shake a hand. Hey, man, you mean a lot to me. Thanks for doing your thing, Keep it cool, keep it casual, keep it simple. They'll respect it a lot more. They'll remember you a lot more from that. Hey, that was that cool guy who asked for my autograph outside there. Yeah, I've met a ton of people. I've met a ton of wrestlers. I've met tons of celebrities, over my lifetime of doing stuff. And it's, there's a social cue. There really is. And a lot of people don't pick up on it, but you can tell, at least I've always been able to tell of, okay, I've had my 5 minutes.
Yeah.
It's time to move on.
Right.
I can pick up what they're saying, body language. If somebody's talking to you and they kind of start doing this a little bit, like, yeah, it's like, oh, okay, it's time to wrap it up and be done,
Right.
You've had your time with it, leave it at that, guys. Don't keep pushing and pressuring, because it's not good, healthy. It's up here.
So, having said that, now let's go to the meat and the potatoes. Let's go to the big story. Let's go to the what in the F is going on in the wrestling world. Yes, let's talk about...
Oh, you don't have the video for
No.
the guy who got headbutted?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
right.
I again...
That's on our page.
It is on our page, and I had some limited time.
Without further ado,
Let's talk
We're
about
gonna go
this.
to the main course. Yes.
We've had our meat, we've had our potatoes, we've had our vegetables. Now let's talk about this. So this is not done by any means. You know, this is just one weekend. So on Monday afternoon, an idea was pitched, and the idea is we're gonna have a 6-pack match. They advertised it, and the winner of this match is going to be the next contender, because another report that's come out since is it's just Hell in a Cell. It's not a major pay-per-view, so it doesn't matter who it is.
Yes. I was like, I want to follow your timeline and see where we're at with this. Okay.
So Monday afternoon, we're gonna do this match, and then Sasha and Naomi. I'm gonna go on a ledge here and say Sasha is running this. Naomi's just going along.
I don't know. I will disagree with that a little bit, because I noticed that, okay, so at the bottom here where it says no official comment from Sasha or Naomi, there's no official comment, but on our page right now, there is an article that has a conversation, allegedly, okay, that the person said that they had a talk with one of them. They did not say who in the thing. It's clear it's Naomi.
Right.
Okay. Just the way that words are phrased in it. That they said, hey, basically the idea was they had a conversation and the person said, hey, can I release this? And the other person said, yeah, go for it.
But unfortunately,
so
as
it's
we're
not
hearing,
a confirmed talk.
But unfortunately, the word of the month is hearsay.
Hearsay. Yes. That's hearsay.
Hearsay. Conjecture. So
like, but you asked the question.
That's one of the best,
second
best line.
Anyway.
So Monday afternoon, this is what we're gonna do. So apparently Sasha and Naomi are like, Hulk Hogan it. No, this don't work for me, brother.
Well, so this, I want to give the setup for this a little bit. The storyline was going into this, the 6-pack challenge. Naomi was apparently supposed to pin Sasha, allegedly.
Yeah, I was going to get to that, but all right, we'll go ahead and jump ahead.
But I want to back up just a little bit on it. And they were like, what? And they said, well, we're going to have you guys go off and do single stuff. Sasha will challenge Ronda, and Naomi will challenge Bianca at Hell in a Cell, presumably for the belts. You're both going to lose. You're just there to put over the champs for this, okay?
Right.
The other thing with it is when they said no to this idea, it wasn't just that aspect of it. They said, but we are the tag team champions. We're supposed to be going into this program that you've promised us featuring these two ladies. Why are we doing this and not what we were promised? So they went to
Vince.
They went to their producer, is what they said. And the producer said, okay, we'll have a meeting with Vince. They have a meeting with Vince, and Vince says, okay, I see your point. We're going to make some changes, right? They then go back out and are given another producer, and this producer tells them that they don't know what they're talking about. There will not be any changes made to the match, and this is how things are going to happen.
And the latest I could find was that second producer was Molly Holly, who got all of the praise for the women's championship match on SmackDown.
Now, the next part of this is from what they said. This again is coming from the apparently allowed or released text conversation between person A and person B. They then said, well, we go to the back, we talk it out, and we say, okay, unified front. This is not happening. This is devaluing us. We were slammed in a tag team together that we weren't supposed to be in when we were promised singles runs.
Which sounds a lot like what Athena said happened to her on NXT.
Now, we're going to talk about comparisons of people here in a minute, okay? But they have that, and they come back, and they're like, no, unified front, this is what we were told. We talked to Vince, this is what we were told. One of the producers apparently basically told them that they were being whiny bitches and needed to suck it up and go do their fucking job. So they go back to the locker room, unified front again. They go to Vince. At this point, Vince says, we're not changing it. This is what we're doing, okay? They go back to the locker room again. They unified front again. Then they go see John Laurinaitis.
They dropped the belts off on his desk and had suitcases in hand and said, we be out.
We are being disrespected. We do not fill our positions as women's tag team champions, and our storylines are being upheld. We're not going out tonight.
And then, so WWE then releases a statement. We put the statement online. But the key part was...
They released it during the show.
Yes, during hour 2 of the show.
Yes.
Raw makes a statement. The thing of it was, in Raw, you could see the anger in the statement if you really read the statement.
Oh, yeah. This was smear upon smear of shit.
And they said, quote, they did not feel safe wrestling two
of the other opponents.
And the really interesting thing was everyone immediately went to Nikki Ash and Doudrop, which was not the case. That's who they wanted to wrestle.
Yes.
The two that didn't want to wrestle each other was each other.
Yes.
Because Naomi
was intended to beat
sneak a
Sasha.
pin on Sasha.
Yes.
So they're like, you spun that incorrectly.
Yes.
So they immediately, so they walked out, and I got to give it to them. I mean, so we're still on Monday. And Monday, we're hearing nothing. You just hear the MMA guy. He makes the comment. He's like, apparently, blah, blah, blah.
Yes.
And the only way they could do is like, Becky's like, you don't even have a championship tonight. They left to make it look like, hey, we're going to try to break it to the audience and have a semblance of control over this.
Well... yes, it kind of seemed the way the announcement initially played out was that this was like part of the show.
Right.
It was. And I want to go I'll go ahead and talk about this for a minute, okay? Cuz when I watched SmackDown this week, I don't know why it clicked for me, but this is what happened. You know, we've always heard the report. One, we say Vince is out of touch and he's lost everything. He's lost his mind at this point, right?
Right.
But also, at the end of the day, this show that's being presented is Vince's vision.
Absolutely.
And I just think of this recent article that came out of Tony Khan where he said, when I see reports, true or false, that the script got tossed out 30 minutes before air, I think, what the hell were they doing all week? You know, what were you doing over the weekend? It makes no sense. Why would you trash your entire show right before you go to air? So I do want to pause and say, fuck you, WWE, for those statements that you made about Sasha and Naomi disappointed millions of fans around the world. Well, one, you don't have millions of people watching your show, okay? No. You have a million if you're lucky sometimes, and 2 on the other show if you're lucky, right? So that's one. The other side of that is that you false book and rebook the fucking show every week.
Right.
You cannot tell me that the main event that you sell the show on is the most important thing when you literally change that shit day of. When you have literally changed matches as they walk out the curtain. You cannot say that.
The other part that was really disgusting as a wrestling fan is, and I'm going to read it verbatim. They claimed they weren't claimed they weren't respected enough as a tag team, and even though they had 8 hours to rehearse and construct their match, they claimed where they were uncomfortable in the ring with 2 of their opponents, even though they had been matches with those individuals in the past with no consequence. Monday Night Raw is a scripted live TV show whose characters are expected to perform the requirements of their contract.
Could you say I'm not...
Why would you watch wrestling after that?
I want to pause this and I want to pad this a little bit. This is not a knock. Could you say slave hand any more obvious than that? Like, these, like, what I mean by that
my
is,
monkeys are going to do what I want them to.
Yes, like, what they're saying is legit is, these are my toys in my toy box. When my toy box doesn't do what I want it to do, well, then I'm going to put them in the naughty corner. And that's exactly what this said.
Dance, puppets, dance.
And that was the biggest slap in the face that I thought, because one, I know kayfabe is dead, but you just told everybody this shit's fake, right?
But okay.
And then you just told everybody that not only is this shit faked, we make it fake intentionally. And when someone has a problem with them, we tell them, Even if this was, we don't feel safe working with these people, okay? One of the big things that we have at work is safety, right? Safety, right? And there's posters, there's things, there's everywhere. Especially if you work in a industrial area, right? There's a lot of warning signs around shit, right? You have to check things, you have to check tags, you have to check dates, you have to make notations, you have to go in and write down and verify. I personally laid eyes on this sheet that says we're good, right? And every misstep along the way hangs somebody up. Even if they said that, is it not your job as an employer to say, well, let's sit down and figure this out and talk about it, instead of saying, get the fuck out there and have your match? If they're saying, I feel unsafe in the ring right now with these two people, it is your job to address that. Not to say, well, you had 8 hours to figure it out.
There's another part. I don't want to derail what you're saying, because I want to keep it. But there's another part that just really... I've read this statement numerous times over the week, and there's a part that just like jumped out at me with something you said a second ago.
Okay.
When Sasha Banks, the very first line of the statement, when Sasha Banks and Naomi arrived in the... Why doesn't it just say Mercedes and, at this point...
oh, God, what's her first name?
Tiffany
Fatu? Is it No. Tiana Fatu?
Anyway.
Whatever. Yeah, I apologize, Naomi.
But,
that's why, because you're Naomi.
Right. But it should just say that at this point.
It should, yes. It should say...
So when Sasha Banks and Naomi arrived in the afternoon, they were informed of their participation in the main event of tonight's more. They're booking the show day of?
Yes. So again, the statement of... Vince promises a main event he has to deliver. The main event hadn't even been announced yet.
It was at the top of the show.
Yeah.
They must have walked out like 10 minutes later.
They had, yeah. I mean, they had to have at that point. And when we talk about the change of the show or the match itself, you couldn't cover this up? Like, this is a big deal. Now, the question goes into, is it a work? We'll talk about that in a second.
Yeah, so, but the thing is, when they showed up today, you would think that you would know your steps. We've talked about this. The biggest problem with WWE is if we were booking it, you would know, like, you'd have an outline. You're going to do this match, then you're going to do this match, and then we're going to have a tag match, and then we're going to do this match, and then we're going to get to the...
should only... I'm sorry. There are 3 reasons, I believe, if you have a live show that you're scripting, your words, not mine, but if you do this every week, I know it's hard to keep track of, 52 weeks a year, right? But if you have characters and storylines and pay-per-views and things set up, you should only alter plans on 3 things. 1, somebody got hurt. 2,
somebody died.
I was
family member.
I was going to say 2, emergency.
Okay.
3, it's not working. I mean, but you have to give things time to play out when I say that. But those 3 things are reasons why you alter a show. You don't alter a show 30 minutes before it goes on, or tell them, hey, 8 hours before the show, this is what you guys are doing tonight. As we know in the back, this is what wrestlers do. Wrestlers go in, and there's a whiteboard on the locker room wall, wherever it's at. And that whiteboard shows you this person, when you're going on, essentially, right? And that's usually a lot of times where we've heard people address these things with their producers and stuff, like, I'm going on in the second match against this guy. We don't have a program. Like, why are we working together? Well, management wants to see what you guys look like together. Well, okay, great. Maybe I can make something of this. And then the next week you come in and go, now why am I in the main event working with this guy when I just started a program with this guy last week? Well, yeah, plans change, whatever. Like, that doesn't work. That's why I really thought about this. Like I said, 20 years ago, they had 10 million people watching their show. 10 years ago, they had 5. Now they're lucky if they can get 2. In 20 years, you have depleted 80% of your audience. So Vince's vision isn't working for this show anymore.
No.
from the top down. It's not working anymore. You have literally killed 8 million people.
Yeah. So the
Viewers. I should say viewers, not people.
When I read I probably think that when I read the official statement.
Back to the Facebook for a second.
Yeah.
I see pop-ups. I want to see if we. Oh, okay. It's comments on your thing.
So when I saw the official statement, my first thought was like, man, they're doing a good job of burying. And then I read it again, and then I read it again. I'm like, well, this is something we're gonna have to talk about on the show, so let me read it again. And I realized they didn't bury Sasha; they buried me, the viewer.
Yes. Well, what they did is that they put all of the weight on the performers and basically made it like they are the reason that you're let down, that the show sucked. But the reason that they did this was your fault.
Well, no, I disagree with that part.
Okay.
Mine was the whole, hey, in case you didn't know, we script the show and da-da-da. This bothers.
I'm wondering if that's like a legal thing at this point.
I don't know. So that's the first 24 hours.
Yeah.
First 24
We're on
hours.
day one.
So, and because we live on the West Coast, I knew that happened. They walked off the show an hour and a half before I even sat down to watch Raw.
Yeah.
Because I watch Raw at 8 o'clock, the time it shows. So I'm actually watching Raw 4 hours after it actually happens, because I live on the West Coast and I watch it at 8 o'clock, even though it records at 5.
Yeah.
So I already knew that happened because Facebook kind of blew up about it. All right, so day one. So what's going to happen on day 2? Day 2 was quiet. It was crickets.
Yeah.
There was some, hey, is this a work? Is it not a work? I mean, what's going on? And the only thing that I could see, and the only thing I could do in looking at different reports, is they took Sasha and Naomi quietly out of the WWE graphic for NXT, which it's like the Marvel graphic. Yeah. You don't notice people coming and going unless someone goes, hey, did you notice that Cody's there now?
Yeah.
Then on Wednesday, Twitter. Anybody who did not work for WWE, with the exception of 2 people that I saw, was very, I would say 80% pro Naomi and Mercedes, or Sasha, and about 20% Sasha, you're an entitled bitch. This is the second time you've done this.
Yes. I mean, yeah, we should back up and say this is the second time that Sasha has walked out, and whether or not she's asked for her release or anything yet, we don't know. But there is a past incident that we have to highlight where Sasha, again, felt she was not being handled properly, and she went to Vince and said, I want out of my contract, and Vince said no.
Right. And this is when her and Bayley were the tag team champions.
So now we'll jump back to our current
And so there was a couple of those, but most people are like, don't be disrespected, do what you got to do. The only 2 people that are in the company that I saw that posted something was Bayley,
yes,
and Paige.
Yes.
Because they still technically work for the company.
Yes.
And Bayley's was very not like it was just like one of those I got your back, girl, or something like that.
Yeah, it was you go, girl, something like that. Yeah, I mean, when because I don't listen to it, but the Bellator guy, I don't remember his name, Joe, whatever, not Joe Rogan, but the other one, our announcer from Monday Night, the guy we like, right?
Yeah,
the guy who we've warmed up to, right?
Yeah.
I guess on his radio show, he made some comments about it where he, everybody towed the company line. The only person I don't want to hang up on this is Corey Graves. Jimmy Smith. I would not hang up Corey Graves. I agree with Carmella.
Yeah.
Corey Graves said the statement that he made because that was his job to make that statement.
Yeah,
he's the guy who got that stick that night to beat him with.
That
was what it was.
We've already talked about how our dislike for Carmella as a person, but she was 100% right. You think those were his words?
Yeah, really, I won't.
Do you know who he is?
I'm saying the day, and we'll talk about Michael Cole in a second. But when he was when he made his comments about the towing the company line, and Vince, Vince thinks the main event has to do this and that and blah, blah, blah and everything. I was just like, you know what, dude? Like, no. You work in, sports combat arena. What happened a couple years ago at UFC when John Jones, they literally canceled the card. The card did not happen. No one got paid for that card because they couldn't put on a main event. It's happened. It's a black out mark. Other promotions have done this. They had a 6-pack challenge. You couldn't just take 2 people out somehow?
Yeah.
And just say on air, Sasha and Naomi were scheduled to perform tonight. They've had travel issues. So the 6-pack challenge has been rescheduled to a 4-pack challenge.
Right.
Why did the other 2 people get cut? And that was their whole comment section of is like, we're doing this. We were promised a program with this. These 2 people are starting a program here. Why are they not starting the program that we're going to be involved in tonight instead of one person pinning another person with a roll-up so we can both go on a singles run that we're going to lose?
Right.
And that's why they said as tag team champions they're being disrespected. Why? Because they were supposed to put over the current champions.
Yes. And then, but you want to talk about the sanctity of a main event? 5 weeks ago, the main event was a double wedding.
How about last week when our main event lasted 2 minutes and 30 seconds and ended in a disqualification?
So, sanctity of the main event. So then Thursday things started. What's going to happen tomorrow on Raw? What's going to happen? We need to figure this out. SmackDown. We need to figure something out. So Thursday, mid-afternoon, late to beginning of the evening, all of their merch was pulled. And they were told they were no longer needed at the house shows, not going to be needed on SmackDown.
It made me so sad because just for a second I was like, oh, I should go order a Sasha Banks shirt just to give her a little bit of extra money, because that's what I did when some of the people recently got cut.
Gary
Cross, Adam Cole, a couple of those. I was like, oh, they just got cut. Yeah, I'm going to make sure you get a little bit of a dividend from me, man.
Especially since I'm like 15% off.
Yeah. I mean, I'm cheap bastard. I got no problem with that.
So then Friday, they pull their profiles, and Michael Cole makes the announcement that they have been suspended. I'm going to do my best Pat McAfee.
Now, the interesting thing that I'll talk about, and I don't know if I shared this article on the page or not, but somebody gave a really interesting breakdown of the fact of Pat McAfee was a pro football player. He played on a Super Bowl playing team.
Yeah.
And he had a disagreement with the owner. And he said, well, I think I'm done with football. Like, I don't want to work for this man anymore. I'm having an issue. That issue is not being addressed. And a year later, he was gone. And then he goes on and does his other radio show. I don't remember what it was called off the top of my head. But a little while after that, Pat McAfee goes, not really having a lot of fun, being disrespected by management. I think I'm going to not make them money anymore, and I'm going to quit. And that's what he did. Pat McAfee's face legit looked like, well, this is happening again. I'm not very happy with what's going on right now, and the statements that we're being able to put forward as, the company. Pat McAfee had the look on his face like, well, might not be working here anymore. He looked disgusted, and it's because of the vitriol that Michael Cole said these words.
Right.
Michael Cole, I wish we had a little bit of the expert of it here.
What Michael Cole said?
Let me see. Okay, so we don't have a blur. Sorry, we have this is our bulletin sheet for how much it is, and I wanted a little bit of a snippet of the dialogue for it, but he said it with such anger. I mean, not passion. Straight anger is how he said it. When he said that Sasha Banks and Naomi disappointed you, the viewing audience, the millions of WWE fans around the world by walking out. I was like, fuck you, Michael Cole again. I've never liked Michael Cole. I feel he's been a complete detriment on the mic personally. I know he's been there for 30 years or whatever, and I don't care. I've never enjoyed Michael Colt's commentary on things. And it just, the statement was so angry and hate-filled, and all I could think of is
we're gonna play the audio real quick.
Vince's words.
You're gonna play the I'm gonna play the audio so you can listen to it.
Let us all down. The WWE Women's Tag Team Champions walked off the show. Why do they look uncomfortable as hell?
All right, so
All right, well, we got a little bit of it. Whatever.
Yeah.
Like, we'll find a better clip and we'll post it up there for you guys if you guys have not seen SmackDown. It's definitely, it is very much a complete company statement.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Made by Vince, told to iterate by Vince, and I think that's why McAfee was completely quiet. Because they suspended him indefinitely, is what they said. They have been suspended indefinitely.
All right, so here we go. Here's the statement.
Switching gears now, I want to talk about what happened this past Monday night when Sasha Banks and Naomi let us all down. The WWE Women's Tag Team Champions walked off the show and walked out of the building during Monday Night Raw. They were supposed to take part in this, the main event, the Six-Pack Challenge, where the winner would be next in line to face Bianca Belair for the Raw Women's Championship. However, Sasha and Naomi took the Tag Team Championships into the office of our head of talent relations, left them there, and then promptly walked out of the arena.
So yeah, and looking.
And I know it's your job. If I'm not gonna bust Corey Graves' balls too much, I guess I shouldn't go too hard on Michael Cole. But it's just, Cole has always been company.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's always seems like he's always been company, and he's just eating that shit sandwich, and he loves the taste. And that's how I felt listening to that. I was just like, wow, dude, that is.
Well, I heard that the coach is back. We'll see where that goes. So as of today, there's still no official comment by Sasha and Naomi. Again, I've heard two different reports of, I've been given permission to share this.
Yeah. Again, I don't know if that's confirmed or not. I was just
hearsay, conjecture. Until one of the two actually makes a comment, and I'm sure there will be one. I
guess we have to end with the discussion of the question of,
is it a work?
Is it a work? This is a pretty big work if it's a work.
So I
think it's a shoot that's going to be turned into a work.
If there is peaceful resolution,
yes,
it will become a work just like it did last time.
The thing with it is that I haven't. This is the wrestling brain, okay, right? I have never seen them go so hard, so fast on an incident.
Oh,
like
no.
this.
No, we normally would just ignore it.
Toni Storm, and that was the other thing. Toni Storm was praised for what she did. Sasha Banks got shit on. But Toni Storm literally was in catering, went and packed her bags and left the building and said, fuck it. You people are giving me mental distress. I'm out. Okay? CM Punk has walked out. How'd they get back at him? They delivered his firing papers the day of his wedding.
Right.
But Stone Cold Steve Austin walked out. They took a massive shit all over Steve Austin for as hard and long as they possibly could until they went, well, it's Steve Austin. We got to have Steve Austin.
And honestly, JR took the brunt of all of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Brock Lesnar walked out on him.
Oh, they woke. It doesn't matter how many times he walks out. They'll just.
Welcome
back.
They literally sued him. He had to countersue them. I'm surprised Brock goes there, except for the fact that he knows Vince is going to give him a shit ton of money every year now. I just posted an interesting article about Brock's dispute of pay for WrestleMania 20, but they've had people walk out before. They've had people walk out the day of the show. They've had people walk out during the show. I don't know of anybody, except for maybe Austin, where they just went hard on them, man. Like, they are raking them over the coals. And that to me, wrestling brain, makes me go, Because, as we talked about at the start of this, literally, everybody's talking about this. Not just wrestling. Look at the top corner right here. New York Post.
Yeah.
New York Post. It's on USA Today. It's on Fox News. It is everywhere that they walked out of the company.
And these are Fox employees.
Yes.
The one that gets 2 million viewers.
Yeah, this is huge.
So one of the things I plan on doing next week.
Huge.
What I think it's interesting I'm going to do is next week. I actually saw it was interesting. Do you remember what who was the last legit female tag team in WWE that held the belts?
You mean not a hodgepodge?
Right.
The Iconics?
The Iconics.
Okay.
And they just left Impact. So maybe they'll be back. So they said there's going to be a tournament in the future, which means one of two things. One of three things for the historians here. One, we are just never going to see these belts again.
Okay.
Two, we're going to bring up a bunch of nobodies to give the belts to Doudrop and Nikki Ash.
Yeah.
Or three, these belts will be won by Nikki Ash and Doudrop in Puerto Rico.
There's also
Rio de Janeiro.
There's also the other option. They're going to make Becky Lynch and Asuka the tag team champions. Because why not?
Because
why not have
because
the
they
people
hate
who
each
are
other
feuding and hate each other? Why not give them the tag belts?
Oh my
We've done it before.
It always works.
People love it. The friction. How can they coexist?
Oh, if I had $1 for every time I've heard that statement. So what I'm going to do is next week, I'm going to have a list of all the potential tag teams that could be part of this.
This is cluster, is what it is. But the thing is, it's the most interesting thing that's happening right now. And why is that?
Because it's real.
Because it might be real. If it's fake, you got us all. Vince is sitting back in his tower. Ha ha ha! Got him! Which is good for you!
Stroking his big old T-Rex bone.
Great for you! You got us if this is fake. But why did you get us? Because it was real. Because nobody got set on fire.
Yes.
Because nobody changed their name randomly and started jobbing in the mid-card to a fucking goof.
That's it. It
was real.
That's what I wanted to say at the beginning of all this. You make this statement how we're scripted TV, but you want us to have intrigue when Edge breaks into, or when Randy Orton breaks into Edge's house. And, you want me to believe that's real.
Yes, that. Seth Rollins tries to.
Yeah, that's it. Seth Rollins
murder Edge's children, and that's compelling. No, it was real. Two people had a real issue with the boss and said, "Fuck you, we're walking out." Oh my God, everyone's talking.
All right, so let's talk about this week in wrestling.
All the shows sucked.
Most of the shows did, in fact, suck. But
okay.
I have a new way of how I'm going to present our information to our audience. So each slide is going to break down each hour.
Okay.
So the first slide will be the first hour of NXT, and then the second slide will be the second hour of NXT. Not only that, but everything that's in white actually happened in the ring.
Ooh, I like all of this. This is nice. This is why he's so tired, right?
Everything that is white actually happened in the ring. All of the red are the recaps that we get so much of. And then everything else in yellow is stuff that was either a backstage promo or just video of something that supposedly happened somewhere in the WWE universe. Yeah. So, first thing first, we're going to recap the breakout tournament. And then we're going to have the Nat versus Kara hug that made absolutely no sense.
None whatsoever.
We hate each other, but now we love each other because you stood up to me. Good girl.
They did. We talked about it. They did the Steve Austin Bret Hart finish because everybody has to be doing a Bret Hart family thing right now in the wrestling world, and it made no sense because Natty's a heel, and she's a hateful, bitchy heel who beat everyone up and screwed everybody up and sat back and cackles whenever Shayna Baszler breaks people's arms. But I'm going to hug this little girl because we had an okay match.
Yeah. So, again, the only three people on this show that can put a great match together, Solo and Grimes, tag teamed with Carmelo, and Trick was there.
Trick's okay. Here's the thing, though, I have to ask. Much like RK Bro 420 says, I just smoked your ass, or we talked about with R-Truth and Get Crunk, has no one told Vince that what whoop that trick means?
Probably not.
That means that you beat your bitch. And he has a shirt that says, whoop that trick. The crowd screams, whoop that trick. Like, I could play you the song about whooping that trick and you would not feel good about yourself.
All I could think of is that episode of South Park where Butters is the pimp that has his bottom dollar bitch.
You're like, you gotta have your bottom, bitch.
So they had a match that went the way you thought it was gonna. The match was gonna, Solo wanted to win, but Grimes wanted to win because we were gonna prove who's the better guy, who's got the bigger dick.
I guarantee you it's Solo Sikoa. I guarantee you that fucking, the Hawaiian dude.
The only thing, there wasn't a miscommunication. The all-inclusive formula, the only thing missing was there wasn't a miscommunication. Grimes didn't accidentally punch Solo, or Solo didn't accidentally punch Grimes.
Well, they already did that.
Well, yeah, a couple weeks ago.
They already did that a couple weeks ago. We just didn't have a repeat of it. This was an okay match. It was about 10 minutes. It was a good 10 dandy little minute match. And I agree with you in the same thing of, why do we start the show with the 4 people who can actually put together a match?
Because AEW does it consistently and it works.
Oh, you piss off with your AEW does it.
Okay, they claim they don't watch the show, but they're starting to pattern themselves. Just saying. Okay. So then we get a backstage from hell. Pretty Deadly is not scared of the Creed brothers. Roddy, again, stay off the microphone. Thea Heel.
What? But no. Before we go there, why is Diamond Mine imploding?
Well, they got the
because Roddy's leaving. And I assume it's because Roddy's contract's coming up and they're trying to get him out, and having him turn with the other guy and then the Creed brothers having their thing and sending them off happy to the by and by is probably the only thing that makes sense for this, because there is no reason for them to be imploding other than the fact of we cannot have a faction, a stable, a tag team, or anybody last for longer than 3 months.
Right. And
we will never have the Undisputed Era again. This has been proven.
And when we bring in the new black guy just because
Roddy needed somebody to talk to, apparently.
Because the Creed brothers ain't having it. Creed brothers all of a sudden have morals.
Yeah, the Creed brothers have morals. Yes, Brutus and Julius.
So now we have Thea Heel, who's going to take NXT by storm just as soon as she graduates from high school.
I can't believe they did this. It's like 3 weeks and she graduates from high school, but still.
But she's wearing the NXT approved
property of WWE.
But she's also wearing the property of the NXT approved tights and bottoms too.
Yes. That's...
I felt dirty. I'm like, oh, why?
But still, it's one of those. It's like the sad thing is it's like people are athletically gifted. I get it, but a high schooler.
I mean, why not?
A high schooler, really?
Sloane Jacobs, who you just had lose last week, she's only 19.
Cora Jade's like 19. This is getting to be a little bit questionable about the morals of people who we're putting on the show. Kevin Dunn!
We understand you don't want them to hit the 40, but 25 to 30 is still a very...
If you're 38, you're just getting your head cut off at this point. It don't matter.
So then we had...
But all of the girls they're recruiting are young.
So then, again, and he loves to hear it, Mike was right.
I called this shit. The final will be Lash Legend against Nikita Lionass.
Why did Lash beat Tatum?
Also, all of your new...
are now out.
Doing the air quotes.
They're all out.
What was the George Carlin skit about the air quotes and hating them? I hate air quotes, but all of your new people who have never been on TV have lost.
They're out of the tournament. Your breakouts are out of the breakout.
Breakouts are broken at this point. The other people who have been on TV, some of them have programs happening right now.
Some of them have been
champions. Winning.
Some of them have champions in other companies.
Some of them have had championship matches on the show. On the show. Roxy, her debut match was a championship match.
She was your last real Ring of Honor champion before the company imploded.
Ring of Honor that
I know,
they don't
but
care.
it's still.
Yes, but I'm saying your breakout people are broken. But Lash Legend moves on. How does she have a job? You literally fire people. You fired Parker Bordeaux because he wasn't getting along the way that you want him to. Well, you make him a retarded monster. What's he supposed to do in the ring other than that? And then apparently Edge tried to save his job by saying, "Give me him." And they still fired him. But Lash Legend, who actually, I will comment this and say, this was the best that she's looked. But it did not look good. This was the best match that she's had on this card since I have seen her. And it still looked like a high school gymnasium indie show.
I miss Dakota Kai now.
Yeah.
You made me miss Dakota Kai.
Dakota Kai looks great. Dakota Kai looks like a seasoned vet compared to this.
Well, she was.
All
Alright, so the match went 4 minutes. Yeah.
Like I said, this was the best 4 minutes that Lash Legends has ever looked, and it still looked like just garbage.
All right, so then we have backstage doing mafia stuff. That's a theme tonight.
I don't care.
We went backstage. Duke wanted to talk, but then Wild Braun appeared and went to the ring, said, "Give me my mic, play my music."
Yeah.
Braun said some stuff. Braun said some stuff about Gacy. Gacy showed up upstairs and said, "Oh, you don't understand. You don't get it. You're playing into my ways. You're doing everything I wanted you to do."
Somebody said this was the best story on NXT right now, and I fell over laughing because I don't understand how this could be the best thing on the show. Braun. I don't. No, that's not even. Let me think of how Gacy talks.
Braun.
Well, Braun, you have an attitude problem, and we all know that deep down that your anger and aggression is going to get the best of you, Braun. So I am challenging you to a match, Braun, a match that will teach you the ways of how to control this, because if you lose your temper and you have this happen and you get disqualified, I will become the new NXT champion.
It's Brother Love. If Brother Love and Paul Bearer had a baby, it's John Gacy.
It's like, this is terrible. And Braun goes, "You're on." And
Convincing.
I just thought, why? Why? Why would you be on? No.
And that's the
I would like to have a match where you can't beat me up. You're on.
All right, so
And is he really going to lose the championship via disqualification where he just puts the boots to Gacy? Gacy, you had a match last show. He kidnapped your father, imprisoned him, and placed him in a dog kennel. I assume also did very bad things to him.
Well, he got left in the woods last week.
And then I was getting there. And then you got kidnapped and thrown into a fucking nether realm of Yu-Gi-Oh! I banish you to the shadow dimension before you can come back and have your title match. But now I can't beat you up. You didn't beat him up then? Now. But you'll lose the belt if you do that. What else can they do to Braun Breaker other than fucking sodomize him with a rusty fishing knife, as Jim Cornette likes to say on live television, before he will get mad and beat up Joe Gacy?
So then we went backstage, and Indy called out Mandy because she's ready to go on life without a man.
She got better in a week. Her heartbreak of her husband leaving her. Great storyline, by the way. Her best friend abandoning her. Her stable mates possibly leaving the company. We'll find out at StarCast, apparently, because Johnny Gargano and I guess Candice are going to have a sit-down. He was not our Joker, by the way.
Damn it.
I didn't think he would be. But anyway, we'll talk about that show in a minute. But my point is that Indy Hartwell, in the span of a week, has gone to strong, powerful, single female lawyer. And she wants Mandy Rose. Who has she beat?
Well, nobody. All right, so we're going to recap the Creed Brother Viking.
Braun Breaker. Stone Cold Steve Austin, Edge, AJ Styles. I want you in a match next week where as soon as I show up in the ring, you lose and I win. There. I just booked the show. No.
All right.
I haven't had any caffeine. I haven't had any nicotine. I haven't had any heroin. I haven't had any PCP. You are getting me raw today on like 4 hours of sleep, and this is what you get. Nothing makes sense in this show. Motivations are terrible. Grayson Waller defeated Andre
We're not
Chase.
there yet.
Oh, wait, sorry. I forgot.
Yeah, so then we recap the Viking brothers again. And
Oh, yeah.
and then Wesley says Zion is
I forgot about the good match on the show.
Zion Lee is not cleared again for whatever reason. Oh, maybe he walked out because he didn't like the way booking was going.
I don't want to be in this tag team shit.
So Nathan Fraser's like, yo, dude, what about me? I mean, he's like a British version of Matt Riddle.
Like, what is Nathan Fraser? I get he's Seth's buddy, but
UK.
I don't know why. Like, I look.
He doesn't have a character.
Yeah,
He's not a character yet.
and he has. This is the only time. I mean, I can't say the only time, but this is one of these times that I'm gonna knock this. He doesn't look like a star.
No.
He has all of the athletic talents. He has all the look. He has all the presentation of it. But I think it's his ring gear. His ring gear is like Ken Owens. He wrestles in like basketball shorts.
Right, and he doesn't have a character yet.
I mean, I'm not. They don't need another character.
Oh, no,
I'll
it's
just
NXT. They have to have
I'll
characters.
just take a legitness at this point. And he doesn't need to be an NXT character, but I'm just saying, he looks bland right now. There's no pizzazz around Nathan Fraser for a guy who does a 630 splash off the top. He needs to have pizzazz. I'm not saying he needs to be
Sparkle
wearing
fingers.
a cape and being a superhero or anything like that. I'm just saying he needs a little bit of dress up to him to make him look like a fucking star that you want him to be.
So your first hour of NXT, you get 14 minutes of wrestling and a 5-minute in-ring confrontation.
This show looks like Raw, and I hate it.
And that was the one thing that the reason I started doing this, like, if I were sitting in the crowd and I had to watch all of these things happening on the big screen, what's the point of being there? All right.
Also, NXT is going on the road. We will be having
Oh, yeah.
shows.
Yeah, we talk about that.
Okay.
No, we don't. We don't.
Okay.
I took that out.
NXT, all right, we'll go back to the other slide because we're still there. So, NXT is going on the roads. We're going to have live shows.
Florida.
I cannot wait to see what that live crowd looks like because your live crowd in your home base right now is getting things over in that arena.
Oh, yeah.
CTNA, when they got out of the impact zone and could barely get 60 people in a building housed for 3,000 sometimes.
Well, here's the thing.
Ooh, right now,
Here's the thing. They're on the road, but all those places are very close to where they're at now, so the crowd can go with them.
I thought they were doing a couple.
It's all Florida.
I thought they were doing a couple outside states.
Nope. All in Florida.
All right. Anyway, moving on.
Hour 2 of NXT.
Well, we forgot. Eric and Ivar fought Brutus and Julius Creed.
Creed Brothers versus Viking Raiders started the second hour.
Oh, okay. Sorry. It's just you had the thing. Oh, that's right. They had the recap. Anyway, sorry. I forgot the color coding already.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was a damn decent little match.
Yeah.
And then they had to put a storyline in it.
Right, because...
Damn you, Roddy, why are you getting involved? We don't need your help.
Yep.
And then what happened? They lost. Guess you needed Roddy's help.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And then when we had some... Now the drug cartel got to rebuff everything that the Mafia said. Then we went backstage to Waller and Tiffany. Tiffany not happy because you need to fix Adrian Chase. And then Braun, because
You
Braun...
know what, though? I hate Tiffany Stratton and Grayson Waller right now. But they're doing their job to me at that point because they're annoying as shit.
Yeah.
Like, I don't like it, but they're working for me in
As
in
heels.
an entertainment aspect of, I'm not supposed to like them.
Yeah. They're Miz 2.0.
And they're not chasing people down the beach barefoot and stealing their cars or anything like that. They're just being annoying heels.
Right.
Fine.
They're entitled.
Yeah, they're being annoying, entitled, bitchy heels, and I am with it.
And they're doing it in a way that's better than Toxic Attraction.
Yes. Well, that's because Toxic Attraction keeps getting screwed and getting fucking spaghetti thrown on them. Because Mandy Rose must always be as naked as humanly possible and drenched in something.
So there's 45 minutes left on the show, so obviously it's time for Braun Breaker to leave. Because
Braun's like Brock at this point without the pedigree of Brock, where he's just like I'll do 2 shows in one night, man.
I'm leaving, and Gacy ain't getting my belt. Okay.
Okay.
I believe you.
And on the way out, apparently next week we're going to have Duke, Poker Room Duke, Poker in the Room Duke, because that's what he wants to do with Indy Hartwell, versus Braun Breaker.
Because
why the fuck not?
So then we get Grayson Waller and Adrian.
I want to comment this real quick. You're there with me, but isn't that the same shit that you praise AEW for every week? Of we're getting a match that we never thought we would see of 2 people who are doing random shit together. It's the same thing.
Yes and no. So I am not.
Is it the rankings? Is it the,
No,
is
no,
it
it's
the
not the
idea
ranking.
the rankings in AEW that don't matter?
No,
By the
it's
way,
not that.
I got a survey question. Did you get the survey from WWE?
No.
Oh, they sent me a survey and I got to fill it out, and it was the most bullshit survey I've ever seen, and it didn't even leave rooms for individual comments. It was just click boxes of things that you may or may not want. How often do you watch the show? How often do you watch pay-per-views? How often do you buy product? Also, things that you might like to see. Most of it was like bad shit that I wouldn't want to see. Like one of them was, would you be interested in watching augmented reality comment? I was like, well, our content. I was like, well, 1, it's a wrestling show. It's already augmented reality anyway. But no, I don't want to play an augmented reality wrestling game. So I was like, not interested. They asked me one though that said something about like a ranking system. And I was like, yeah, that might be cool to see.
Right. So I am not a. So if it was Adrian Chase wrestling Duke Hudson for no apparent reason, that makes sense to me. I don't like it when I absolutely did not. I don't like it when Adam Page is wrestling this Knutsko Tanatsky for no freaking reason. I don't like it when the champion is wrestling someone I've never heard of or somebody who doesn't deserve a match. The champ that's the things I don't like. AEW does too. Now, if it's just Duke wrestling Wesley for no reason, and then all of a sudden Wesley's wrestling Tony D'Angelo, and that's fine. I like mixing it up. I don't like when the champions.
You mean the champion who's in a program right now? Because you know what that means, right? Next week, Braun Breaker is going to beat the fuck out of Duke Hudson.
Exactly, and that's
so
why
that way it'll further the Joe Gacy storyline.
That's why I don't like.
By the way, when I got home, the very first thing that Caden said to me when I walked in the door last week was, "Daddy, don't say bad words."
You've been doing much better tonight. I don't like when the champ, because if the champion on a Monday night, a Tuesday night, a non-pay-per-view show wrestles somebody, I already know who's going to win. It's like when Hulk Hogan showed up on WWE Superstars once a year. You knew he was gonna win.
I don't know. I mean, well, yeah, but like,
The
Joe
ones who-
Gacy's not going to be the NXT champion. I cannot believe. Well, he might be. He might be if they're going to get Braun off because they're running low on stock on the other shows.
So then Grayson Waller and Adrian Chase have a match. Adrian Chase, again, I'll say every week, full on faces now.
Saray was in the crowd with a flag.
She was the flag bearer.
Ooh, Saray, how you went from being hand-picked William Regal, the new warrior of the sun, to schoolgirl Asian fetish flag waving joke in the crowd.
Speaking of jokes, Toxic Attractions demanding respect. No.
I always feel like they use the phrases that are popular like a while back because they made sure to say like Toxic Attraction needs some respect put on their name. Be like, what?
We got to watch Dominic's mind explode some more. Why are you messing with my matches? We want to be legit. I know what I'm doing. I had a great faction. And where's your faction now?
They get mad and walk off, and Roddy tells the new guy, go take care of it.
So Kiana James, which, you know, is kind of a new girl, but not really a new girl because she's lost a bunch of matches already. She's not won a match yet. She wrestles Roxanne Perez.
So I want to start this and say, for those of you who might remember the previous show or the slides that we have up for Kiana James, she was the girl who looked like an advertisement for Brazzers.
Yes.
That was her character, by the way, was that she was like super smart, slutty secretary.
Yes. Had the glasses.
She was pretty fucking good in this match.
Yes. She actually.
This
was the best.
And Roxy looked great.
This was the best of the 4 matches.
There were 2 hiccups that I saw in this match, and Roxy, being the veteran, was good enough to get out of it and turn it into a move that looked like intentional to be there. And also, the other girl was either A, smart enough to know that there was a mistake and to roll with it, or B, physical enough to move Roxy to make the move happen,
right,
to make it work. I was completely blown away by how impressive this was. And I'm not saying this is a 5-star classic Dave Meltzer, oh my God, match. What I'm saying is that what I was given was way better than what I thought I ordered.
Right. So the best part of the entire second hour was Malik Blade, Andres Enofi making fun of the drug cartel and the mafia bosses.
NXT has their New Day. They have their New Day.
They're Street Profits. They were very...
they were...
No, the Street Profits did the whole... Anyway. Yes, they have their new one. And apparently...
The black people have to be funny.
And then apparently Stacks and 2 Dimes. I can't say that without...
Oh,
I cannot... With the banner at the bottom of the...
Hey, you guys talking about us? You think you're funny? Well, why don't you prove it next week in the ring?
They put the banner at the bottom. It's in Stacks and 2 Dimes. Yep. I'm Italian and I'm offended.
Oh, Lord.
That's gonna be a 5-star classic next week.
So Malik and Idris are awesome. Why? I mean, they are stealing the show out from under everyone, and no one's paying attention to them. They're awesome. I love these 2 guys, and they're freaking good in the ring.
Yeah. So Roxanne and Cora are trying to sister it up, and then Elektra, for no reason, walks in like, it's about me and Fire next week.
I don't know why this bugged me so much.
Because it made no sense.
Well, it did and it didn't. It bugged me because Roxy was there, and then Cora comes up to congratulate her.
Right.
And then Roxy has to explain to the audience that Cora and her have become buds, even though the fact of they're all hugging and being buddy-buddy with each other was not explicit enough. Roxy had to explain to us, the viewing audience, that they're cool. But then the interviewer starts to ask Cora about everyone's a buzz about your match with Natty last week. And Cora has to be super nice girl and say, hey, thanks. It's not about me this week. It's about Roxy. And then proceeds to talk about her match from last week.
And then Elektra
Lopez,
it's
who
about
is busy
me
doing cartel stuff, comes in and interjects
No, it's about
herself.
me. It's about me, and it's going to be me.
She's not in the breakout tournament.
Neither is Cora.
Neither's Cora Jade.
Not Cora Jade. I was trying to remember Fire's old name.
Oh, Alpha
Kaylee
Fire.
Ray.
Yes.
Yeah, Kaylee Ray wasn't part of the...
Worst name ever.
So then we get the last 20 minutes of the show as wrestling. Go figure. You can see that the first hour and the second hour were significantly different wait time. Like, you had almost 40 minutes of wrestling in the second hour here. More like half an hour.
Yeah.
Wesley and Nathan.
Cool. Short. Super short. There was a lot of potential there. A lot of stuff left on the plate, in my opinion.
Yeah.
A lot.
Because they needed to give Santos and Tony the time.
So, the thing I want to talk about in this match, I don't give a shit about any of the moves that took place or anything that happened to this. The reason this match was terrible, but also good, was because We have not been presented of who is the babyface and who is the heel in this, okay? The fans in the arena decided for us who was the babyface and who was the heel. They picked Santos.
Duh.
They picked Santos. Keep in mind, Santos kidnapped and murdered someone last week.
Well, so did Tony D'Angelo.
So did Tony D. But, like,
So
they were behind Tony D.
yeah, they
Now
were.
forget about it. Everybody.
They brought up the restaurant again this last week.
Yes.
So apparently, when given the choice between the drug cartel and the Italian mafia,
We have gone with the
drug
drug
cartel.
cartel. Yes. I'm okay with this. They're better.
they are better wrestlers by far. I
They are
cannot
much-
wait to see Tony Diaz 2 stacks and dimes and
Yeah, 2 stacks and dimes. I cannot wait to see this. But yes, that is the only interesting thing that happened in this match was the crowd didn't know who to cheer for, so they just made up their mind halfway through the match of, we're getting behind Escobar. Why? Because he's been here the longest, I think.
and he actually has wrestling heritage.
Yes, but it's like, he's the only one that's been here since Black and Gold. We're going to cheer him, and we're not going to cheer the new toy. Joe Gacy, at the end of the night, had a promo on top of the tower where I believe the Joker tried to kidnap Maggie Gyllenhaal. And he had his red hooded fingers by there.
about that.
And he cut his promo at the end where he was going, ha 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 ha. And they interspliced drone footage of the drone pulling up from this area. Does Joe Gacy own a tower? Also, he's on NXT. Those rooms are like, those apartments are like $30,000 a month. I do not think that Joe Gacy, who just now got followers for his, parishioners that he can suck money out of, is affording
GVO.
that
GVY.
place.
I'm telling you, they're GVY.
No, they're going to be rebranded as, what was it, the Bloody Bros or whatever it is. But my point is, they showed this footage like, it reminded me of on Sci-Fi, where he was cackling, laughing, as a superimposed image over top of the drone footage that began to fly high off of the building while he was standing there.
So is he supposed to be, like, when you think of...
Joe Gacy went from motivational speaker to cult leader to Lex fucking Luthor.
I was going to say maybe...
That quick.
Okay, yeah. You know what? He's Lex Luthor now. Yep. Yeah. And as we mentioned, no surprises where this is going.
I guarantee you Lash Legend beats Roxanne Perez.
Absolutely. And Nikita is going to beat Fallon.
Nikita will beat Fallon.
It is going to be...
I could see them pull an audible and do Nikita and Roxanne.
That is the only other option.
But I do not see Fallon handing Nikita Lyons her first loss. Nikita will win this.
Why was there a breakout tournament when it's...
People on the show.
It's,
I'm done talking about NXT.
Yeah.
This is a terrible booking.
All right, so let's talk about Raw.
I'm okay getting through. We talked about the bulk of Raw with Sasha and Naomi of that section, so we're not going to rehash the flow of that show.
So, they announced the matchup. So, first thing we're going to start off, everyone loves a recap. And then immediately a 2 hours till Cody countdown.
Because it worked great last week. I mean, cool. And make Cody a superstar. Someone on the show has to be.
Right. So MVP gets a mic, always good. Cedric. So.
Poor Cedric Alexander.
Cedric is trying so hard.
I can see why your wife's angry.
Cedric's trying so hard.
So, I want to talk about this, okay? Because this got 2 different reactions.
Okay.
Bobby Lashley defeats Omos because Omos is an idiot.
Okay. Yeah. Well, we're gonna talk. I thought you were going to talk about the whole Cedric part first.
No, fuck Cedric Alexander. I don't care about him. If they don't care about him, why should I?
Okay. So, how many times can you remember this finish happening?
It happened to Bobby. It legit happened to Bobby
3 times I can think of.
already. Which, that's the other thing of why it kind of made sense and I liked it. I thought this was an okay match. I know I can't say heap praise, but I know I have been pro Lashley and Omos because it could look so bad and it's only looked okay. I can live with that. I thought this was a great finish. The only problem is that, like I said, it already happened to Bobby once, but when I thought about it, it made sense of, well, Bobby knew what to do because it already happened to him 12 years ago against Umaga.
Right. Then you have, isn't this how they got the belt off of Brock Lesnar? This is...
Well, no, it was Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Big Show.
Right. No, I'm talking about over in Blood Money, where he did the same thing to Roman Reigns.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Threw Roman Reigns through the cage. Then you've also got with Brock Lesnar. Then you also had The Big Show doing it.
But it's been spaced out. It doesn't happen on every show. I thought it was a great ending. I thought, I don't like interference in a cage match. Because
Kevin, you needed to look up. Kevin, you need to pay attention to the Facebook. We updated the Facebook and said we were doing a show.
Yes. But I thought that, they always say the whole point of the cage is that it's supposed to solidify, it's supposed to end the feud. The cage match is the blow off. It's supposed to be no involvement, but there's still a roof on it, which means there's always involvement.
You mean like Cedric crawling into the ring twice? They did that spot 3 times, where Cedric climbed the side of the cage.
Yeah. Yes, they did. I thought the match was fine. I liked it. The only thing I didn't like of the ending of the match was Bobby's reaction to it. Where he, got off the cage, rolled over, and stumbled onto the ground, and he goes,
Yeah.
I won! I was like, sell?
Right.
I was like, different selling, maybe? Like, you got thrown through a cage, you got jacked up, and now you're like, but then he's just like, ha-ha!
Yep. All right. So then we go to another recap.
Kevin was working at the escape room today. Well, thank you, Kevin, for your wonderful contributions. We played your intro at the beginning. We highly enjoyed it. I chuckled.
Yes, he enjoyed it.
Doink the clown.
And it's Doink the Clown, not Dink the Clown.
No, you're a dink. I think that was not a slip.
It's all right. I found good music for it.
I thought this was okay. I was fine with. I don't know why we start the show with a cage match.
No, I don't.
We could have moved the cage match to the main event of the show. It would have been a better ending.
Right.
This was, again, WWE fucks up and has probably their better match take place at the start of the show.
But again,
They should be ending with the better story match.
the cage match did a good job of hiding Omos's inability to wrestle.
Yeah, because what's he going to do? Punch, throw, kick, cage.
Dink was the midget.
Oh, that's right. It was Doink and Dink. Yes.
You're a dink. So then we got to recap Theory, Miz, and Ali.
Oh, you know what's awesome? Kevin, did you meet my wife? Because Kevin was at my wife's work doing karaoke, apparently, while my wife was cooking, and the DJ, who my wife has talked to about our show, said, hey, that guy's been on your show before. And I was like, been on our show? I was like, who would be at the bar? Who would that be? I was like, and I go,
no, I bet it wasn't. I bet it was Jeremy.
I go, Kevin? And she goes, yeah, I think it was Kevin.
Well, Jeremy just won a karaoke award.
Oh, okay, so maybe it was them. If it was you, Kevin, interesting. Small world, right?
You'd probably have to give him the name of the bar, but...
South Pacifica.
All right. So anyway, Theory, Miz, and Ali from last week. South Pacifica. This story is... It makes sense. And the fact that Vince is giving his protege the Miz's learning tree. You love or hate him, the Miz knows he knows how to draw heat.
Yeah.
He knows how, and you even said
he's entertaining me.
You hate the fact that he's entertaining you.
I do. I hate the fact he's entertaining me, but he is doing it.
Poor Ali. I guess this. We knew the shoe was going to drop. How was Ali going to be punished for wanting to try to get his release?
2 minutes and 47 seconds. That's how.
This is how he's going to get the permission. Theory with a mic is still pretty good. He did learn some stuff from Johnny Gargano, and he's learning stuff from The Miz.
He's fine. I know it's part of his thing, and it has been, but he's really got to drop the cell phone thing.
Yes.
The selfie thing is killing me.
Yeah, he wants to sing a duet with you.
People do not want to hear that. Not you. You're probably great. I saw your thing on your Facebook. Trust me. Nobody wants to hear me sing.
Veer just killed. Although, the match lasted longer than 30 seconds, so.
Yeah, I mean.
Veer's
at
just
least
going to be muscle.
I guess they couldn't get any local talent, okay, for Veer to crush this week. I'm okay with Veer crushing people. At least somebody looks like a monster. I don't know. I'm not sold on Veer just yet.
Backstage, Adam Pearce, Becky spills the tea. I thought I'd go ahead.
Well, yeah, I remember that.
And then they have the recap, RK Bro Bloodline feud. Don't worry if you don't understand what's going on with this feud. You'll get at least 15 more times to see.
What would be a good duet for me and Kevin to sing? Total Eclipse of the Heart. Is that a good duet for it?
Sure.
What else would be a good?
Do you know any of the Hamilton soundtrack?
No.
Oh.
No, sorry, I didn't mean to say that with such hatred of that. But no, I don't know a fucking thing from it. Nobody does. That motherfucker said 2,000 words in 4 minutes or something. No.
I've actually heard Kevin sing Hamilton songs at the bar. He does a great job.
No, where that guy's like, put the dollar bill on the sins and I'm coming through when I come stepping inside and then everybody trying to oppress me from the England and King and no, I don't know that shit, man.
Do you know?
We can sing some Busta though. I'll sing some Busta Rhymes.
He does a really good
Tupac.
He does good "Sex on Fire" by
fucking
Kings of Leon.
Kings of Leon. No, fuck Kings of Leon. They had one good song, and it was not that one.
No, it was that one. Kevin,
No.
you should hear Kevin sing "Sex on Fire." But anyway, this isn't the karaoke show. This is second hour of Raw. So first hour of Raw.
Wanted Dead or Alive by Bon Jovi.
No, that's me.
Yeah. That's you?
I'm
okay.
Bon Jovi. They call me Bon Jovi when I karaoke.
Bon Jovi? Okay.
So, to put it out there, you had first hour of Raw, you got about 15 minutes of actual in-ring work.
Time of my life from, what was it, Dirty Dancing?
Karaoke wrestling show. No. Stop hijacking my show. I'll hijack yours. Okay, so what do we got lined up for the second hour?
Joey's like, fuck Raw. Fuck everything on Raw.
Oh, shit! I don't have the second. I have the. Damn it! I fucked it up.
Okay. Real and Jey Uso, they had a match because Randy only works one show. AJ Styles and. Or where is that? Does that happen on this? Okay.
No,
all right.
we lost the whole second hour.
All right. So
As
we predicted, the Bullet Club got their female member in Liv Morgan. The setup to this was dumb because in the back, Liv Morgan is cutting a promo. And then Finn and AJ come up and say, hey, we should be bros and watch each other's back. Now, the question I have for this. Okay.
We're just going to go back to hour one. So
let me ask this question. They pose this to Liv of, hey, Judgment Day is messing with you.
Right.
They're messing with us. We should kind of team up and watch each other's backs, right?
Right.
And Liv goes, let me think about it, guys, okay? Because, by the way, the whole start to this was the fact that the Latin Lovers tried to assault Liv Morgan in the back.
Right.
Okay? And they were like, hey, piss off. We'll get to that part of... Was that not the main event? Oh, no, it wasn't. Oh, it was just... Okay. But the Lost Lovers leave, and then they have this thing. But you proved last week that AJ Styles will not punch Rhea Ripley.
Right.
So you're literally telling Liv Morgan, hey, Liv Morgan, this chick who has been whooping your ass for the last month, well, we're going to keep letting her whoop your ass because we can't actually do anything about it. But would you like to be bros with us?
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't make sense, right?
Right.
I can see why Liv Morgan's like, well, I'm going to have to think about that for a minute.
Right.
Because I would look at that and say, well, what can you do for me?
And just like that, we have hour 2.
Nice. But seriously,
Right.
what can you do for me? You can't stop her from beating me up, and I cannot stop Damian Priest, 6'8", from beating you up. However, they, as the E, they'll probably be a little bit more lenient with the fact that Liv Morgan will probably be able to do a Hurricane Rana on fucking Damian Priest, right? They'll let that happen. But they're not going to let AJ Styles or Finn Balor fucking Pele kick Rhea Ripley in the face.
Right.
Maybe once as an accident, and then they're going to feel bad about it and be like, oh no, I kicked a girl in the face, and then they're going to get rolled up and pinned.
I didn't know I could.
I've seen this match.
I don't know. I didn't know I could actually literally live update slides like that. So that's
cool.
good to know.
Yeah. But that happens. The only problem I have with the match, and it was a fine little match, Liv Morgan comes down. She looked hot.
So
hot.
Did I miss that you just skipped the whole Riddle Jimmy Uso match because it didn't matter?
They had a fucking match. I don't care. Like I said, Randy only works one show a week. Right. The Los Lotharios. They are the team that solidifies the Bullet Club. As soon as they announced Finn Balor and AJ Styles fight Los Lotharios, I was like, what? I was like, this is going to be the glue that bonds them together.
Yes.
Liv Morgan is fucking hot. She is so hot. And even out of makeup, where she's not as hot, but she has the big, gigantic glasses on, is still hot.
Ooh, would you say that Liv Morgan is hotter than Ronda Rousey?
Yes.
Oh, you heard it here. Ronda Rousey is not as hot.
Well, Ronda Rousey looks like the old woman in the shopping center that smells like cat piss.
Oh, I can't wait till your
my intro next week
your
is going to
intro
be
next
brutal,
week.
isn't it? Yes.
Just remember, Kevin. You remember this next week for the intro.
Okay. Anyway, what happened next?
So backstage, KO and Alpha Academy DNA results.
Alpha Academy, your former tag team champions who were the opening night match at WrestleMania, who were jokes and then became legit, are now back to being jokes. Also, Kid Owens, who main evented WrestleMania Night 1 with Stone Cold Steve Austin, is now a fucking joke.
Okay, so I hear what you're saying.
No, because you're about to say this is good.
No. And they did it. They full on. They are full on. They have lost all of the stock they had. They turned. Otis was now this monster that was being run by Chad Gable. That he tapped into him, and now they're making barbecued pork jokes again.
Yep. Otis is back to being the fat guy who can't figure out how to put his dick in Mandy Rose because he's too busy making out with Ham.
And Sean Hoban is 100% correct. Neither of them is as sexy as hot as Alexa Bliss. Now,
I honestly, I mean, realistically, okay, we'll do the guy thing. Rhea's the hottest chick on the show. Okay, that's my personal opinion. But I think overall, like, I might have to say, who would be the hottest one? Who's the hottest one on the show?
we're gonna do
I'll even say this for the guys. Me and my wife we agree. It goes Roman and then Finn. Those dudes are hot.
and I say Drew, but apparently every time I say Drew, half the women I know go, not so much.
Drew has as much hair on the top of his head as I do.
Drew's the hottest dude. So look forward to this week for a who's the hottest male and female wrestler. We'll do a poll and we will post the results next week.
Just purely for fun. We're not objectifying, okay? We're just being silly.
Yes, we are talking about which guys are hot, Kevin.
Yeah.
We are a equal opportunity show.
Yeah.
Now, back to Raw, Hour 2, because this was more entertaining than that. Hour 2 was the best hour of the show, however. So then we get a recap of Sonya Deville, and now Alexa Bliss is wrestling Sonya Deville again. And I still don't understand what Alexa Bliss is.
Didn't Alexa Bliss also walk out? because she was not happy with the direction of her character and had a meeting with Vince McMahon. So Alexa is just back.
She is
She is
directionless.
Directionless.
She is a ship without a rudder.
We say these phrases a lot when it comes to the show.
And she's smiling. And
but
she's
she
got
has
her doll.
Lily.
She has her doll
because they found a box in the warehouse they still need to sell. She's high-fiving little girls in the crowd.
Yep. So they had a 4-minute match. No surprise, Alexa won this match.
And you're telling me that you had to restructure the entire show because 2 bitches walked out on you? No. You had Alexa and Sonya 4-minute match booked way before that.
And then we got to recap Cody and Seth's feud again.
At least they're keeping us there.
Hour 3. As promised, Cody comes out with a mic.
Cody said stuff.
Yes, he did. Then we go backstage and listen to Asuka. Oh, wait. He said, I'm going to take you to hell, Seth.
Yeah, because what happened that we talked about that you didn't believe? Roman Reigns is not on the show for Hell in a Cell. Who's going to be on the show that they're trying to push as the main event? Cody now.
Yes. So Asuka made noise backstage.
That's the only way what he just said is accurate. I couldn't understand a single thing. I'm not trying to be hateful about this.
She made noise.
I've seen her on Instagram. She does speak better English than that.
She has a YouTube show where she goes around looking at Japanese stuff in American malls.
Yes, she speaks. Why they went back to I don't know why.
I believe this was the longest match of the night.
Ezekiel versus Chad Gable.
Yep, it was.
It was the longest match of the night.
Yep. And Ezekiel. So you posted a meme that I absolutely was thinking in the back of my mind, and I didn't have time to put it on here, but I was like, why does this dude remind me of the Ultimate Warrior so much? He even shook the ropes for half a second.
Because everyone said he looked like Macho Man so much that they made him change his look so that way he could look like the Ultimate Warrior now.
If he comes out in face paint, I'm just going to be like, done.
Oh,
that'll be his other brother, fucking Ernie.
Oh, well, no, it's Elias, Ezekiel, and then what's another biblical name? Azariah?
Azariah? Okay.
Azariah, that's a biblical name, right? Yep. All of the prophets are his older brother, one guy now.
His older brother, Enoch, will come out with
There you go, yeah. They're going to have the entire flood of family. I imagine it's going to be like all of the clones from like the Venture Brothers storming out. Oh, Lord.
And then backstage, there was stuff that you don't want to talk about. Then that stuff turned into Dana Brooke.
Still not talking about it.
Smashing into Carmella. Because Carmella's a badass.
Remember, this is what Vince McMahon thinks this show should look like for us.
And then, in case you weren't depressed enough, here comes Lacey with another
tragic. So talking about this show on my show tonight. Love it. Yeah, Lacey Evans fucking...
But she at least kind of aligned herself somewhere.
I mean, but again, Lacey Evans, 5 weeks on SmackDown to go to Raw to be a heel so that way somehow we can boo an abuse victim. I get the thing is, I get that she is a triumphed Marine, proud woman mom, right? But that's like the 30 seconds that she spends on her story after the 2 minutes about how horrible her childhood was. Shouldn't the 30 seconds of this be the front of it and then the other 2 minutes be, and then I became a triumphed badass?
So then we got to recap earlier tonight. Then the WWE went to the USS Iwo Jima, who Bobby Lashley's cousin is a sailor stationed aboard. Awesome. And then we recapped another earlier on tonight because, you know, in case you're wondering what you missed in the first 2 hours, we're going to...
I don't know why they've started this. I don't know why they have started literally recapping the show
In the show.
Now, not just the announcer saying them, they're throwing the vignettes of showing it.
Yes. These recaps were video recaps.
And not even like they did this in the Attitude Era, don't get me wrong. But it was just like, it's just so, this is what makes 3 hours of this show so hard to watch. Asuka and Becky Lynch had a match because we didn't have a main event, because Sasha Banks and Naomi disappointed the millions and the millions of the WWE fans around the world because they decided to take their ball and go home. Good for them. Asuka and Becky Lynch's match was 10 minutes. It wasn't bad.
And Asuka won.
Why? Because didn't I say?
Surprise.
Didn't I say last week, despite all of the six-pack challenge kerfluffle that happened, I said they would just forget that Asuka lost last week and doesn't get a title shot against Bianca Belair.
But they were forced to do that because it was supposed to be Naomi by pinning Sasha.
Still, did I not say that
Yes.
they would forget that Asuka lost her championship title match?
She would win.
And again, why were the other two bitches not just put in this and it made a fatal four-way?
Right. So that,
If it
Becky
was
didn't have to take the pin.
If it was so important to have Doudrop and Nikki No-Ass on the show, why were they not on the show?
Well, because they got to figure out what they're going to do now.
SmackDown. Joseph did not watch SmackDown. I did.
All right. But I do know, I did write down everything that happened on it.
Okay, cool.
So, hour one.
I'm sure they will be all great things.
Yeah, that's what I said to Kevin. He said he's talking about.
Okay. All on the show, okay.
So,
Yeah.
recapping the show. Recapping the RK Bro Uso feud. Again, we're going to recap this.
Yep. They're building this. This is the most important tag match in the history of the WWE.
So they say.
So they say. At least they tried.
I did watch this match.
At least they tried to build around it, which I could not hate.
Oh, that green spit definitely stained Becky's skin.
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. That was the other thing, man, is that, like...
So she won, but she cheated to win.
Asuka cheated to win. And she's the babyface. But because she's Asian and they all apparently have a special venomous adrenal gland inside their throat that they can use to spit liquid out of. Yes, we'll just flip back. That was the ending of the match. And Becky Lynch literally acted like the fucking Dilophosaurus dinosaur from Jurassic Park spit acid into her face like Newman and just was like... And then they did a, bump backstage thing where she was back cutting a promo about the loss of the match, still with all the green spit covered over her face. By the way... Welcome to COVID, Becky Lynch, because you just got spit on. Becky's in the back going, my face!
I wonder how much bigger her sunglasses will be next week.
Also, the front row. Hope Asuka got her shots, because if not, everybody's in the building is just contaminated because somebody spit 40 feet of green mist on
I
them.
will say that Asuka was forced to cheat because Becky was trying to cheat.
Oh, yes, because as I see last week's show where I talked about the heroes fucking the bad guy for no reason, yes. I will say, though,
Anime for life.
Asuka looked, I might say Asuka might be one of the hottest ones of the show because she looked super hot with all the stuff bleeding out of her mouth, down her neck and stuff, and she was like smiling. I was like, that is a good t-shirt right there, and they'll never make it.
Yeah. All right, back to SmackDown.
The Tribal Chief.
Had a mic.
Where were they at? Albuquerque, New Mexico?
Something like that. Did they acknowledge you?
Acknowledge me.
Did they?
They did.
Okay.
Acknowledge the Tribal Chief.
Awesome.
We the ones. Fine promo. Anytime Roman gets on the mic, fine. Paul, a little long in the tooth tonight. A little lost, but it's Paul E, so he's able to roll his words into a complete sentence. So when he does trip up and say something dumb, which he did, he got out of it.
Right.
And the one thing about Paul that I like is that you notice when normal people talk, especially me, people whose brains work really fast and they kind of da-da-da-da-da-da. If you fuck something up, you correct yourself and go, I meant to say this. That's what Paul E does.
Yeah.
Paul E just doesn't go back on script and try and say the shit like it didn't happen. You know, Paulie will be like, Roman Reigns, the champion. I mean, the 2-time champion. You know, he'll correct himself. Paulie's great on the mic, and he makes Roman shine. And what he said was great. And as they said it, when he said, if the Usos do not win tonight, they will not be invited back to the Island of Relevancy, I thought, well, I guess the Usos are getting fucked tonight.
All right, I would have, yeah. Again, I only thing I did was I watched the last match. It's the only thing I had time to watch. So Sami Zayn apparently is wearing a Bloodline T-shirt.
Funny.
It's
funny. It's comedy I can take.
Nakamura is back, and since maybe this is that whole Nakamura got knocked out by.
Well, they said in this match the thing that everybody knew that made sense of Nakamura went after the Bloodline because he was supposed to have a shot against Reigns that he never got.
Right.
But he also went after the Usos because the Usos are the ones that caused the injury to Rick Boogs. Gotcha. Because Rick Boogs blew his knee out trying to pick both of them up at WrestleMania, right?
Right.
The announce team actually covered for the fact of why is Shinsuke just back once again fighting Sami Zayn and the Curtain Jerker for no reason whatsoever. Well, Sami's representing the Bloodline.
Got it.
So they fixed that. They actually fixed it and made it make sense of why did Nakamura not get Roman Reigns other than Vince said, well, I don't like Asian people to have championships.
Okay. This recap should be read, but we got to recap the Usos as a team. And then we got delighted with the Happy Corbin show where apparently he broke stuff.
Fuck me. Fuck every inch of me in barbed wire and fucking glitter. This was awful. My God, Baron Corbin, go away. I like Baron Corbin. I think everything, I've said this before, I'll reiterate. Everything I have heard about Baron Corbin is he's a fucking professional. He's a sweetheart of a human being. Yes. And so many people who I know that have worked around that peripheral area or had a dark match said he is the safest, strongest fucking person in the ring. He is so deceptively strong. They're like, he picked me up and he put me down and I felt like I landed on a bag of pillows and I did not think that was going to happen. He's so good. The problem is that he's so bad.
I never thought I'd say it, but I missed bum-ass
I loved bum-ass Baron Corbin. It was great. This was absolutely terrible. Everything he said fell dead as a fucking doornail, except for the end where he smashed the trophy. Andre the Giant trophy against the steps and shattered the base of it and took the top half of it off as itself. Once he did that, I was like, okay, I'm back on board with Baron Corbin. Why? Because he should be that guy.
And this is the second statue that's been broken, just for, those
when they said,
historians stake.
When they said...
They broke it 2 years ago.
What was it like? They said something along the lines of like, the winners of the Andre the Giant Battle Memorial Royal, whatever the fuck it's called. It's, Vince Loves Andre. We'll just call it the Vince Loves Andre Cup, all right? They said something about it like launching the careers or something. I was like... Almost everyone who's won it doesn't work in the company anymore, and the two people who just won it are in a goof fucking feud where one guy said he's going to make suspender title belts.
Yeah. And the other one's Baron Corbin.
I don't think anybody who's won the Battle Royal... I take that back. Cesaro did have a world title match. Okay. But I was like, I don't think anybody who's won it has had a world title match, maybe. Well, no. Who won it the first year? Did Kane win it?
No, it was Braun Strowman.
Strowman won. Okay. All right. So, but again, Braun Strowman doesn't work in the company. Cesaro doesn't work in the company. Like, you could not say it's launched people to stardom. Right. All right. What happened?
No, we're gonna go Andre the Giant.
Oh, by the way, Gunther's buried in the mid card.
Yeah. So then here's gonna be So while I pull that up, yeah. So Gulak, Ricochet, Gunther, they had a thing. So here are the people that have won. First year with Cesaro.
Out of the company.
Second year, Big Show.
Out of the company.
Third year, Baron Corbin. In the middle of this.
Okay.
Fourth person, Mojo Rawley.
Out of the company.
Fifth person, Matt Hardy.
Out of the company.
Sixth person, Braun Strowman.
Out of the company.
Seventh person, Jey Uso.
Okay.
And now Madcap Moss. 3 people still, 3 of your 8 still work for the company.
All right. They definitely catapulted them into unemployment. Poor Mojo Rawley, by the way. I hope you get better, homie.
Apparently the runner-ups were Big Show, Damien Mizdow, Kane. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, right.
Colin Jost. Oh, Colin Jost was a runner-up. Nakamura and Finn Balor. All right.
Drew Gulak's fucking terrible. I hate him. Said it before. He is going to buck up to Walter. Walter just went out and beat the absolute fuck out of Drew Gulak like he was not anything worth his time, which he's not.
I read that it was like he got slapped into 2 weeks
got
ago.
hit so hard his ancestors felt it, okay? That is how hard he got hit. But then little buddy Ricochet comes to the ring because he's tired of people being picked on and he wants to prove that you don't need to be a big guy to be a champion around here. And what happens? Gunther and
Kaiser.
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 German. Kaiser leaves the ring because Ricochet showed up.
Well, I'm going to tell you, I'm calling it right now. I'm
What
calling my
the-
shot. I'm calling my shot. Gunther's going to be your new champion.
Well, of course. If Ricochet beats Gunther, I'm fucking kicking a hole through the earth.
All right, so I need you to tell me all about Max Dupree. Please
So
tell
first
me.
off, I shared the article before I saw the clip, and I was like, well, that fucks up his whole gimmick. No, they found a way to do it because Adam Pearce, who was not selling this at all, is in the back. And LA Knight walks out. And LA Knight, who is Eli Drake, who is everybody else that they could possibly rename, comes up and he has a new name and a new gimmick debuting on SmackDown. And who is he? He's Max Dupree. Max Dupree, who is a male modeling agency and professional wrestling representative.
Ah, would you let his... So, in case you're curious, Eli Drake, Eli Knight, his real name is Sean Ricker.
Ring names. Oh my God, I forgot he was Deuce. Dick Rick Likens, El Hajo de Trump, Eli Drake, LA Knight, Max Dupree, and then his other names.
Sean Ricker and Slate Randall.
Oh my Lord. That man has had more gimmick changes than the Patriot. Like, my Lord, this fucking guy. How? Oh, it's because he's 39. I guarantee you he's going to be gone in 6 months. Why? Because this shit didn't get over. Why? Because Adam Pearce did not give a fuck that Max Dupree showed up in the back. And I thought, well, they fucked up his whole gimmick of the pointing thing. No, they fixed that at the end. Because Adam Pearce once again goes, I'm sorry, who are you again? And he goes, Max Dupree. And Adam Pearce goes, what? And he goes, Max Dupree. And he's like, no, it's Max Dupree. So he can still do the Max Dupree.
Oh, God. Did he say dummy?
Ah!
All right.
Just cut his head off and stick it on a pike with Drew's sword at this point. Because you kill... This is the thing that killed me.
So he was hired by Sonya, right?
This is the thing that killed me, okay? When he came out and cut this promo, I was like, this motherfucker gets it. Because everything he said, not Adam Pearce, who deadpanned everything he was trying to do and was just like, you're a joke, get out of my face. He said it in a believing, convincible, I thought this motherfucker is Max Dupree, who is a male modeling agency representative and professional wrestling representative person who is going to take over, and they're going to present sexiness and athleticism and championshipism, or whatever the fuck it was he said. By the way, he didn't have his other guys that have been in the dark matches, Mace and T-Bar, or whoever the fuck it is, right? But my point is Eli Knight said everything so believable that I went, okay, this is his new gimmick. Why he's not LA Knight? Why couldn't he keep the name LA Knight and just change the character?
I mean, LA Knight...
Because that would have made sense. Why? Because LA Knight, the problem is that he looked too much, he became too much of a badass. That was the problem with LA Knight. But why couldn't he be LA Knight, the name that they gave him? They have a fucking t-shirt for the motherfucker.
Calm down, stop swearing. But LA Knight...
He has a t-shirt, LA Knight. But LA Knight would work because the LA Knight modeling agency.
I mean, yeah, that definitely sounds like...
Not Max Dupree. Because Renee Dupree. Because we own the name Dupree or something.
This is the same thing they did to Valkyrie when they call her Frankie Monet.
Don't care about that. She didn't be in the company as Valkyrie. He's in the company as LA Knight.
I get it.
He just came off shows. And his character as LA Knight, now being a male modeling agency person, would have made sense because he was being presented as super sexy, badass, heartthrob guy from LA who's driving around picking up all the girls in sports cars.
I agree.
Why couldn't he be LA Knight?
So, second hour of SmackDown. We get to recap Raquel Rodriguez. Then we get to the backstage of all the bitches yelling at each other.
The best match that they've had on SmackDown, which was Raquel and Ronda.
Yeah, in which Ronda was whipped the shit out of by Raquel.
Yes. Backstage, Shotzi, Aaliyah, and Raquel talk. And Shotzi tells Raquel that she ain't shit. And Aaliyah just stands there.
Smiling.
But Shotzi tells Raquel that basically, like, the reason you lost is because you're too busy smiling your teeth and being happy, and that should have been me, and I should have been the one in the match, blah, blah, fucking blah. Drew made a tweet. Throw it a pitch.
Because he apparently is trying to help sell out this stadium show, and it's not working.
They've sold 40,000 tickets.
Right. But Vince was expecting to sell out day one.
No.
That's what Vince was thinking.
It's not going to sell out.
All right, then we get Raquel versus Shotzi. The match, approximately 3 minutes, 2 hours, 2 minutes.
Good match. They've had better in NXT, let's be legit, but they had a fine little NXT match. This match was fine. Everybody looked great.
Then we go backstage with Xavier, and then we go backstage with Butch. Because apparently Xavier didn't have anyone to back him up tonight, and Butch is still a rabid Wolverine.
Ugh. I hate this feud.
I heard they gave them a name. Like... Oh, wait, they already have a name. Never mind.
No, wait, Fight Night?
Yeah.
Yeah, Fight Night has another new name. Because remember, we were supposed to have, what was it, the Bloody Brutes?
Right.
They're now the, it's something Brutes. It's something, it's
so it's
like,
not Fight Night anymore.
Well, Pat McAfee said Fight Night, but their graphic down at the bottom said, like, it was like Brutal Brutes or some shit.
Isn't
like
it the Big E neck breakers?
No. No, it is not. It is not.
The Big E neck breakers.
By the way, they are now trying to sell the fact that Ridge Holland broke Big E's neck, and that was an intentional thing that happened, and that they talk about it as not... They went from a freak accident in the ring to Ridge apologizing about breaking his neck, and the baby faces refusing to accept that and beating up the heels, to now they reference the fact that Ridge Holland broke Big E's neck, and that's why they're not here. And that seemed intentional that it happened, that Ridge, so whatever.
They had a 3.5 minute match.
This match was great, and then it ended. Why? Because Woods went in Pete Dune's backwoods. He beat him with the backwoods. If this is Xavier Woods' idea, I hate you. I hate your face. I hate your family. If you have children, I hate them too. Because if your idea was, hey, I got this great idea.
My finishing move is
I'm
going to be
win.
a roll up.
I'm gonna win matches. How are you gonna win matches? Oh, I'm just gonna get it with a roll up while I'm in the middle of getting my ass handed to me, and I'm gonna just somehow miraculously 1, 2, 3.
But you're going to cheat, right? Like you're going to bounce off the rope, or someone's going to.
He didn't even do any of the sidestep roll through thing. No, he literally just grabbed him, pulled him down, and they went. He won with the backwoods. And then what happened? Butch beats up Xavier Woods. And then he gets mad and smacks Sheamus. And then he goes off on Ridge. And then they have to restrain Butch. At least, at this point, Butch is looking like the single most dangerous human being on planet Earth.
Which means...
If they put Butch in the ring with Roman, I think they would let Butch beat Roman up at this point.
So that means...
And then Sheamus would have to stop him.
By SummerSlam, Butch will be Xavier Woods' tag team partner.
Probably. Because what happens, they go to the back, and Xavier Woods tells everyone that... I'm skipping. I don't give... RK Bro's a tag team.
Yeah.
You know this. For some reason, RK Bro is the single most dominant tag team in all the WWF history. Apparently, they forgot that they had people like the Towers of Powers, they had the Legion of Doom, they had Alpha and Sika, they had Demolition, they had Axe and Smash, they had the Hart Foundation, they had DX, they had literally everyone.
Legion of Doom. Anyway, so backstage, Xavier Woods is whining.
Xavier Woods is like, this sucks. They beat me up. I don't have any friends. Kofi was out this week, but Kofi will be back next week. And I've got somebody in mind who can help us. And then he walks off and they go, well, it can't be Big E because he's fucking crippled. So who is Xavier Woods' mystery third man going to be so we can continue to have another drug war on another WWE show? Because now we're having the Irish Mafia versus the Afrikanis Mafia.
I know who it's going to be.
Who's it going to be?
The Nigerian Prince.
No, it's not going to be Apollo.
Apollo. Yeah, Apollo, I'll help you out.
If it's Apollo, oh my God. Because don't forget, Apollo tried to kill Big E by throwing ring steps on him.
I mean, you're
I mean, I'm sorry. I have to ask this
Shelton?
question. Maybe. Shelton's not doing shit. He got exercised from the Hurt Business, and Cedric's too busy trying to have MVP be his prison daddy. But, like, and I'm trying to not be hateful when I say this or be whatever.
Disrespectful.
But it's like, what other black guy do they have? It has to be another black guy for New Day, right?
Right.
Like, I mean, it could be a white guy. It could be an Asian guy. I don't know. But I'm just like, who does Xavier Woods know? I'm interested because I want to see who's going to be replacing Big E. If they replace him with another guy who's 6'2" and 200 pounds,
maybe it'll be Drew McIntyre.
it won't be Drew. Drew's got to go sell this Cardiff show by either A, fighting Tyson Fury, or B, fighting Roman Reigns. And they better hope to God that they get Tyson Fury, because then they'll sell the building out. But
Oh, look. Vacant is the women's tag team champion again.
Nice. Okay. Michael Cole tells us that Vince doesn't like
we played
ladies.
the clip.
We played the clip. You can see all the information. Go back and watch the earlier show after you're done with this point. We then move on to RK Bro versus the
Jinder
Usos.
Mahal? I'm looking at the roster.
Mace? No, he's supposed to be a male model. Who else we got?
Shanky?
Maybe.
Yeah, no, that's it.
That's it. It'll be Shanky. It'll be fucking Shanky. I guarantee it, okay?
And then we have our main event.
Braun Breaker? Is he going to do 2 shows? No. We have our main event that lasted 13 minutes. The single greatest, most important tag team championship that will ever take place in the history of the WWE goes 13 minutes. And how do they end it?
Oh, no. Before you tell me how they ended it, let's talk about how it started. Within 3 minutes, the referee's throwing up an X.
I didn't guess that.
They threw
Riddle
into the
Oh, that was...
And they throw up the X, and then you see the doctor come in the ring, and then they get back from commercial, and Cole's like, oh, apparently he's got bruised ribs, he's fine.
No, he has a bruised hip.
Hip.
I'm like, can you diagnose a bruised hip in fucking
In a wrestling ring?
47 seconds of a commercial?
You threw up an X for a bruised hip.
Yeah. And then Riddle just worked the match. He just worked it.
Yeah.
No selling.
And then, was the ending botched?
Well, I don't... You watched the match, right?
Yes.
What killed Randy?
Oh,
I did not see what killed Randy, why he could not get back up to the ring.
Roman, I think.
No.
Paul Heyman.
No, because the finish of the match was Paul getting on one side of the ring.
Right.
To cause the referee to go over there. And then Riddle was on the top rope.
Was going to do the
with
Super RKO.
Jay, and was going to do the Super RKO. And then as he went to jump off, Roman appeared from the crowd and grabbed a hold of Jay so that way he would be not pulled off. Riddle hits the ground. Jay gets back up and does the 5-star, and they get the 1, 2, 3. But did Roman hit Randy
Off
first?
camera?
Because I just was like, I just saw Randy, and then he just was gone for like 2 minutes, and I don't know what happened. So the ending of the match sees either A, children in the arena crying, or B, spliced footage of previous matches where little children in the crowd were crying over something, because not only do the Usos become your tag team, unified, universal champions, told you it was going to happen, they decide to just murder RK Bro again and again and again after the match. And they put Riddle through a table with a 5-star frog splash. Yep, there you go. Perfect. I mean, I felt bad. These kids were crying.
Fuck them kids.
Yeah, like I wrote, fuck them kids. But they were crying, and I felt bad. Like, I don't know. I had that moment where I had that flash of my own child. I was like,
I don't know. That kid in the top row looks like he's laughing.
No.
Dad's like, sell it.
That kid is crying, man. Like, they made sure to cut to shots of children crying in the arena. That's why I felt bad. Not that the angle made the kids sad, but the fact that the WWE felt the need to cut to the footage of the children crying a lot. I do appreciate the parent, though, who's covering up their child's ears for how loud it is. Like, that's very nice of you, right? But yeah, they just fucking destroy RK Bro, and that's it. Where does RK Bro go from here? Who cares?
Well, from what I read, is it's going to now be Riddle versus Roman, and then Randy versus Roman, because they still don't have a real...
But Roman's not working shows.
He is working shows.
No.
Roman
is not working shows. He's not in Hell in a Cell. He's not in Money in the Bank. He's not at... We said he might not even be at SummerSlam. He's not coming back till Crash at the Castle.
We'll see. All right, moving on. So, WWE, that's what they had for us. You ready to move on?
I'm ready to move on.
All right. We got our first hour. Samoa Joe versus...
The Joker. Don't forget the Joker.
When they said Johnny Elite...
We knew it would be. We made the joke when he got fired, and it was like, well, if he goes to AEW, he'll be Johnny Elite. It's the joke. Johnny Drip Drip. I wish he was Johnny Drip Drip. I don't know if he owns that or not.
So, I was hoping for so much better, but whatever.
This was kind of not great.
It was not a great match.
And I don't know whose fault it was. It kind of looked like Samoa Joe's fault.
You know, you had Samoa Joe try the blockbuster 3 different times. You had Johnny completely miss his first splash, and then he barely caught his second Starship Pain. They did not construct their match in the 8 hours they had.
Yes, the 8 hours that they had to put their match together. Apparently, it did not.
This was
I
not.
don't has Samoa Joe and him ever wrestled?
I can't
like-
say that I know that they.
I cannot think. I mean,
When he was Johnny Impact, maybe at the end of Impact.
no, because Joe was already in.
No, just before he left, when he was feuding with Bobby. When Joe and Bobby were feuding in Impact back when back when it was global wrestling for that short time.
Maybe they, but I can't. Yeah, I don't know if these guys have ever wrestled a match together.
So then we recap. So the match went 10-20. Again, the kind of match you expect.
Yeah,
It was not.
the chemistry was not there.
It didn't hit for me.
It didn't hit for anybody.
So then you had Jeff and Darby. You got to watch them. Then we went backstage and the Hardy Boys.
We have to recap Jeff and Darby every week now because you almost killed 2 people.
Right. The Young Bucks want the Hardy Boys. Sure. Then we had Adam Page versus
We already got the Young Cucks versus the Hardy Boys in TNA. I didn't.
and Ring of Honor
There
just
we
before WrestleMania. Actually, during WrestleMania weekend, literally.
Yes.
And then right after they wrestled each other, the Young Bucks went to go start AEW, and the Hardy Boys showed up in WWE at WrestleMania.
Yep.
Adam Page versus Takeshita. I didn't know who the hell Takeshita was.
Oh,
Didn't
this was going to
care.
be brutal.
Didn't care who he was.
Oh, you should have cared.
The match was nothing more. I understood what the point of this was. So you bring CM Punk on commentary because you're trying to give Adam Page personality. Because right now nobody cares about this match.
No.
Nobody cares about
I
Adam
care.
Page as the champion in this match. Right now, they're not behind him. The crowd.
Oh no, the crowd is behind him. I think we're just not behind him.
I don't know.
I think the problem is that it's fucking CM Punk.
So-
It's like CM Punk is going to get the bigger
right.
reaction.
Well, I mean, okay. Let me try this a different way.
Okay.
No one in this company is going to generate more heat than MJF. Apparently.
Oh, I don't know about that. When we talk about Blackpool Combat Club.
Right. Okay. Okay, fine. More people care. So if you have three matches that are coming up, 3 matches that I know for sure are coming up on the next pay-per-view in 2 weeks. Black Combat, so BCP.
Not BBC, as
Right.
Renee Parkwar tweeted out by accident.
So you have Black Combat Pool versus the JS. People care about. You have MJF versus Wardlow. People care about.
Yeah.
Adam Page versus CM Punk. Of the 3, that's the one they care the least about, but they should care the most about.
I agree. I agree with that.
Adam Page just doesn't get... So it's the way they're going to give Adam Page personality is to taunt MJF with his own... Or CM Punk with his own moves. And it didn't work.
What are you talking about? That was awesome.
Okay.
That was fucking awesome. The problem is that it's the wrong person doing it. Because Adam Page is coming off as whiny.
Yes.
In a way. That's what I'm
Yes.
getting at. Is Adam Page, he's not coming off looking like, okay, you say you're the best in the world, but I'm doing it better than you. He looks tweeny and bitchy and whiny. And that should not be what Adam Page is presented as.
Agree.
Because every time he hits a move, he shouldn't look towards the ring. Or look towards the ramp at CM Punk, you know?
Right.
Like, that was a bit of a problem. Also, it was very, very clear that, you know, Takeshita was there to
Take a pin.
He was there to take the pin, which made me super sad because he's pretty good.
Right, and that's what I mean. That when you throw away a match that you never seen, Takeshita should not be fighting the champion in the second match of the night.
Yeah, I don't really understand why he had a match. Other than I assume they paid for this guy's fucking plane ticket.
Yeah. All right. So the best thing of the match is actually when Adam Page they did the stare down. Adam Page just walked off, but again he walked off huffy.
Yes, yeah, that's an issue. I don't know why he's being,
And CM Punk just laughed in his face.
Yeah,
He's like, "I got you. I'm in your head. I'm in your head."
yeah.
And he is. All right, so we go backstage. Fuego del Sol's calling out the House of Black because he's an idiot. We'll get to that on the next show.
Oh, Lord.
Swerve and Lee versus the Workhorsemen. Because, well, we gotta...
This was your WWE match of the week for them.
Yes, because you gotta have one. Then we had one backstage with... I'm not a fan of what AEW's been doing with their women, and that's just having the bad... The Tony Schiavone gets to,
He gets to interview the ladies. Tony Schiavone with his mullet.
But he does it with the people that want to fight each other right there, and they're just standing there like saying hateful, horrible things to each other, but they're just...
You can't always have somebody in the ring and on the Jumbotron.
Agree.
Like, WWE does that. The pre-tapedness of it is just quite awful. And yeah, I don't know about having somebody in the back standing side, but they do that. That's old wrestling. That's NWA. I get it.
It is, okay. Yeah.
I get it. I mean, there should be some form of separation other than Tony Schiavone, aside from the fact that you're telling us that Tony Schiavone is more powerful than 5 grown athletic women.
Yes, but the second they start...
Especially Jade Cargill. You're telling me that Tony Schiavone is going to stop Jade Cargill from ripping a bitch's head off? No.
No, because the second one of them starts raising their voice, he slinks out the back.
Yes, he does. He's just like, out of here.
And I understand catchphrases, but Jade, I really want to see you do great things in your career, and I'm talking to you right now, Jade Cargill, me and you. This cut the shit, Tony, it's got to stop. It just... Like, when you walk off camera and then walk back in, just go, cut the shit, Tony. All right.
It doesn't... I like to curse, as you can tell from the show, but just...
It's the South Park tech right
there. Yeah, that's what it is. It's, you can say shit on your show 10 times, and you got to hit your quota every week, so that way everybody can go, ooh.
All right. Keith Lee, Ricky Starks, Christian, they all got mics. Christian's making matches again. Christian's the only one that makes his matches in this company.
We had such high hopes for Keith Lee. And when they put him with Swerve, I was like, this works. Big guy, little guy, this works.
And it's still Mike.
It's just not.
It's not working now.
Dead.
It's not working yet.
This is dead. This has been run over with a steamroller. If you're going to sit there and criticize Adam Page for being bland and blah, this is...
I agree.
This is fucking white bread.
This is not the right fit. I agree.
No, this does not work.
But
I thought that said wipes Wardlow. It's like, that's funny.
So MJF whips Wardlow. So I had some problems with this.
I did too. I had a lot of problems with this.
So first of all, the first problem is they did this. They've already done this.
Yeah.
You're only 3 years into your company. Please stop regurgitating stuff. You're
With
only 3
the
years.
same person.
Right. So that's problem number 1. Problem number 2. Wardlow no sells every whip. Fine. I'm okay with that. You got your beast going. You're tickling me. You're tickling me. But then you kick him in the junk.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden the whips start hurting.
Yeah.
And I don't know. There was just...
This was not put together very well.
No.
This was not put together very well at all.
And that's your first hour, but you got 25 minutes of wrestling.
And you had a
lot of shit in the ring.
Match, but you had really two lackluster matches, a throwaway match. Yeah.
But the people in the audience saw things happen in the ring where it belongs.
Except for backstage and backstage and backstage.
Yeah. But
so, wait, no, motherfucker. You're going to sit there and praise that. Let's look at that. So we had a match. Okay, 10-minute match. Great. Raw had a 10-minute match to start it with the cage match, okay? And then we have a recap of shit that happened 3 weeks ago. And then we have a backstage segment. And then we have a 12-minute match. Okay, slightly better than Raw, except for the fact of it was in the hour 2 that we had another 12-minute match with the Bullet Club. CM Punk cut a promo. Then we have a backstage. Then we have a 2-minute match. Then we have a backstage. And then we have a mic jerk-off. And then we have a flagellation happen in the ring. Right. So you cannot set... I'm not saying that, because trust me, I'm criticizing. This was the better show, okay? For wrestling content, this was the better show compared to what Raw put on. But that is the same fucking format as Raw. The difference is that this has people who are better presented, and you are allowed to care about.
my point is, Raw's first hour of show, or even SmackDown's first hour, had about 20 minutes worth of in-ring. This had about 40 minutes of in-ring. That's what I'm getting. People are not watching the TV as much.
What is your math? Look at your math. 12 plus 10 is 22.
Right.
22 plus 2 is 24.
Right.
Add up the difference. That's 25.
Of
That
wrestling.
is not 40 minutes.
That's 25 minutes of wrestling. The CM Punk Adam Page, that was about 7 minutes. The Keith Lee, Ricky Starks, that was about 5 minutes. 4 of it too long. And the MJF Whips Wardlow, that was about 10-minute segment also.
Okay. I think I misunderstood your
not wrestling. I'm talking in-ring presentation.
Okay. I was going to say, the things happened in or near the ring. We weren't watching a pre-tape or something on the Videotron in the back. Okay.
That's my point.
I will acquiesce to that.
Okay. Ooh, big word. So, hour 2.
And I used it wrong. I did. I used it wrong.
So, we backstage. Again, we're going to go backstage again because that's where we go.
Okay.
Roppongi Vice wants the Ring of Honor tag titles. Okay. Another recap of Jeff versus Darby.
Yeah. You almost killed him. You might as well get all the mileage out of it. The problem with this is you know what this says to me? They're going to do it again.
Yeah.
They're going to do it again. And
bigger and better.
They're going to do a 25-foot ladder drop off the top of the fucking Coliseum, and one of these guys is going to die. No. And it'll probably be Jeff Hardy who dies of a drug overdose because he is in so much pain that he just ODs on Oxycontin and Vicodin.
I read that Darby's going to jump off out of a blimp.
They can't. You can't do that so much. There's a reason that Edge lost 10 years of his career because he did stupid shit in the ring because they kept sticking the boys in ladder matches and said, well, we got to have something on the card. And Michael Hayes would go, well, stick the boys in a ladder match. That'll get people to pop.
Kyle O'Reilly and Ray Phoenix. I did not think that those two styles would work. And they did.
The WWE missed out so hard on Kyle O'Reilly. And they weren't going to promote him because he looks like a goober and he's about 180 pounds.
Right. And they had a great match.
Yeah, this was a fucking cool show.
The JAS faced off with the Black.
You know what, Regal? You could have been the best of us. You had all the talent in the world, and all you did is you ended up being a washed-up, worthless drug addict who I thought would have died 10 years ago. Holy shit, Chris!
Whoa! Now, we know in real life that
they're super friends.
Regal and Jericho. I mean, Jericho has more respect for Regal than probably most people.
Everybody does, because everybody saw how legit Regal was, how much of a badass Regal was, and how much he suffered and was able to overcome those sufferings that he had, and still go out there every week and stick his tongue up Vince McMahon's asshole on national television with a smile on his face.
But man, you just gotta go right out there like that.
Wow. And you know that was in the back of, you know, that had to have been Chris going, well, what if I say this? And Regal says, you know, do your job, man. I don't care. It don't bother him.
Yeah.
It don't bother him. At this point, I think Regal's proven he's not going to get like, and I'm not saying everybody, but I'm just saying, I don't think Regal's going to get depressed because somebody made fun of him and he's going to relapse or anything like that at his age. I think Regal was just like, this is what's good for business.
Yeah.
You know, this makes sense. And I thought the statements were good, and I didn't feel like it was being, what's the phrase I'm looking for here?
Ham-handed?
No, not ham-handed. I was going to say exploitation, like Lacey Evans thing, or like other stuff where they like rehash real shit.
Right, but
I felt like this was a very personal confrontation between two people who are standing on the opposite sides of the line.
And
great.
And again, it was rooted in reality.
Absolutely.
But not exploited.
Yes, it was not. This was great. But holy shit, what Chris Jericho said to Regal, and what Regal said to Jericho.
Right.
Regal didn't get the piss taken out of him. He legit fired back with basically like, you chubby, out of weight, fat fucking bastard wannabe rock star going around pretending that you're the greatest thing in the world, and you're not, and you haven't been. Like, whoa.
You're just latching onto this. You're latching onto something else that.
Yeah. This was great because this is a fucking go watch this promo. This was 8 minutes of awesomeness.
Right, and it's like, and they're doing what we've always said about Eddie Kingston. He roots himself in reality, and he's believable.
Much like Danhausen.
Right. So everything about that was great. Eddie, I also liked Moxley at the end. He goes, because it's just so the way it's all set up is, we're gonna do once again. We're gonna bring it back. The only way we can do this 5-on-5. We're gonna do it to the stadium. Moxley's like, nope.
Yeah.
We ain't doing that shit.
Yep. Moxley was like,
no,
you're not going to scale down the walls of the fucking...
I am not going to put... That was a different time and a different era. We're not pre-taping a match.
Nope. This is great.
This
is great. And it fits in with Jericho's whole sports entertainment thing.
It is the JAS works. And
it does.
He's putting on some weight again. He's hamming it up. He's eating some ham again.
Yeah. Jericho's having that thing where like he has abs but he's losing it, so you can see like where things are tight, they're starting to kind of stretch out again and separate. Like, yeah.
And then
he's going to be wrestling in a shirt like Sting if he keeps going in the next 5 years.
And then AEW went full WWE. They went 100% full WWE. You could tell this had to have been pre-taped. You had to have been pre-taped. Because what Matt Sydal and Dante said next made no sense in context with what just happened in the ring.
No.
They call out Blackpool Combat Club. Hey, we want to be next. Yeah, I know you got your issues with the JAS, but we want next. What?
No.
What?
And I just was like, when they popped up, I was like, oh, I forgot you worked here. That's how I felt. I was like, oh, these guys still work here?
And they're very talented.
They are.
They're super, they should be wrestling Frankie Kazarian and freaking Sammy, and they should be, I don't know. Maybe they should be, I don't know. Anyway.
Not here. Sorry.
They got
108 people on your roster.
So next we have Britt Baker and the female Joker. I hated every second of this. I had no idea who Maki Itoe is. Apparently she was a tag team partner. I was not into Shimmer. I was not into all those other female wrestling. But she sang. She was so overproduced. And that does not work for Britt Baker.
I blame Britt.
Oh, Britt had everything to do with this.
I blame Britt Baker on this.
And then, the most uncomfortable thing I've ever seen in my life, in AEW of recent, this in-ring interview with Serena Deeb, Dustin Rhodes.
This was awesome. I don't know why it was Dustin.
Well,
why was it Dustin?
Because Dustin did a pre-tape last week where he was talking about how he has personally been training Thunder Rosa and how she is the
that's right.
She's the champion.
I'm sorry, I forgot.
So Dustin sold being uncomfortable,
yes,
and wishing he wasn't there.
I guess what I mean is not storyline wise. Why was it Dustin? It was just more like, why was it Dustin that she unloaded on? I thought it was fucking great though.
I mean, it was...
when she legit said, I have done everything in this business that every man has wanted me to do who's tried to produce me and tell me this. I have got my fucking tits cut off and replaced twice. I've shaved my head because they thought that that's what I needed to be. I've done everything in this industry for everybody else but me. So where the fuck were you, Dustin, to come mentor me? You weren't there. You were too busy trying to do this,
Okay.
I thought it was great.
All right.
It was great. She said the realest shit. This show was full of real shit. She said the realest shit out of anybody. As the thing goes, that motherfucker's spitting.
Okay. All right. Okay. Maybe I just need to think back. It's been a long week.
Yeah.
Long weekend. All right.
I mean, again, though, I will, as we praise, I have to also counterpoint when we do these things because I love the dichotomy of being bipolar, but She talked about shit that didn't happen in this company that happened someplace else.
Well, yeah.
She might as well have said, I'm not in the Hall of Fame of the WWE. Fight me over your ring, Dustin. Like, she talked about shit someplace else.
Adam Cole versus Jeff Hardy.
Didn't care.
Jeff Hardy should retire. But again, it's not the good Adam Cole. We're not getting the good Adam Cole. We're not getting the good Adam Cole. Rampage was the best. I'm sorry, Dynamite. I did it again. Dynamite was the best show of the week.
Had a lot of bright spots. Very little low.
And everything that happened in the ring that wasn't wrestling made sense. Rampage. Again, I did not watch this, but they put a lot into the 1 hour show that they have.
Mm-hmm.
So you got House of Black versus Evil Uno, 10 and Del Sol, 9-minute match. They
did a lot of stuff in 9 minutes. House of Black is awesome. I feel bad that they're basically relegated to wrestling only on Rampage.
Right, and Death Triangle. Well, that'll change with Death Triangle. Death Triangle did the stare down. Did they touch? I don't think they touched.
I don't think so, no.
I absolutely hate everything to do with Gun Club and Max Caster.
I like the Gun Club.
The whole scissoring thing, and it's just...
I don't like the Max Caster part.
Backstage, FTR accepted Roppongi Vice's challenge for
Okay.
the Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions.
Excuse me.
Sean Spears wrestled Big Damo. Big Damo
Who's
used
Big
to be
Damo?
Killian Dane.
Because everybody has to have a job at
This
Tony Khan,
it was
All Elite
it was a one time. They just need Sean
They
Spears.
have not come out and said
He's all elite.
that he's all elite.
They just wanted Sean Spears to fight a giant.
So he can fight Wardlow, the Giant, next week.
So Big
right?
Damo said. So Killian Dane said, "Well, my wife just got kicked out of the main event at her show, so because he is married to
Nikki No Ass.
Nikki No Ass. So, all right, I'll take Tony Khan's money for a match. Sure." Spears got on the mic, said, "I'm going to do things to Wardlow," and just like what happened 2 years ago.
Yeah.
The Bucks want the Hardys. The Hardys want the Bucks.
Ooh, they'd have a fucking match.
Statlander versus Velvet Sky. Because that's part of the Owen Hart Club match.
Red Velvet, not Velvet Sky.
I'm sorry, you're right. Red Velvet. Those are two way different people.
Yeah, I was like, Velvet Sky, no.
Red
She's
Velvet.
busy jerking Kurt in the Indies, and that's so sad because I love Velvet Sky.
And
She gets
Statlander went over
so
as
much better.
Statlander went over as she should. She's no longer the alien. Now she's
I'm glad they dumped that.
yeah.
That was what was holding her back, was that stupid alien gimmick. I mean, it's fine to have something that separates you, and it's fine to have something that makes you unique, but when it's kind of like it's kind of like this, okay? You ever been like out somewhere, right?
Sorry.
Like maybe
Oh.
maybe you're at like, I don't know, maybe you're at like a club or something, right? And you see like a hottie or something across the ring, and you're like, man, she looks good. Is that a string hanging out? Like, it just kind of like takes you back a second, like that. You're like, what is going on here? Like it's like looking at a new car, and you're like, this is the most beautiful new car that we could possibly have. It's absolutely gorgeous, but I really don't like the color.
Right.
And that's how you feel. Like, can we just get it in a different color? And that's what they did for her. They gave her a new color.
So all I can think of is that thing that's going around was like, you ever take a melatonin and start jerking off at the same time? See if you can finish before you fall asleep. That's what it's like to drive a Ford F-150.
I take melatonin. It doesn't do anything for me.
So after the match, the baddies attacked because of course they did.
Yeah.
We recap the Hookhausen thing because there's going to be a match. Dan Lambert.
I will go back last week and see my mental breakdown that I had over Hookhausen. Why? Can I ask a question though? Okay.
Sure.
Why on the graphic did everyone have their fight pose? But Hookhausen was the very unfortunate shot of Danhausen hunched over, looking very flabby, shaking Hook's hand. Like, why was that their picture on the poster for the upcoming show, but everybody else had,
Because.
Poor Hookhausen. Poor Hookhausen. And I will double down on my thing from last week.
Oh,
it's over a bag of chips.
A
Bag of chips. A crushed bag of chips followed by a gifted bag of chips. And that is why we have Hookhausen.
So, once again, we're going to go ahead and completely confuse our audience because Dan Lambert has a mic and Sammy has a hammer.
And he calls Ty Conte a whore again.
And then Sami Zayn.
Hey
man,
I love chips. What's your favorite kind of chip, man? Honestly, I really do like the.
You notice he hides in the comments till we start talking about.
Look at Hookhausen, don't talk shit. The Cool Ranch Doritos are definitely up there for me, but I think I really like the Harvest Cheddar Sun Chips. The ones you get from Subway; those are bomb. And then I really do like the. Is it the Tostito? No, it's not Tostitos. Is it Tostito chips? The one like the nacho dip chips?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the one I even like not the little bowl things that they give, but I like the straight traditional flat ones like that because they cover them in salt. They're delicious,
My favorite flavor of chip is Ruffle, or not Ruffle, but Ripple.
Oh yeah,
wavy.
You know what?
Wavy is my favorite flavor.
That might be there. The wavy one is good because I love those on. So I like to take sandwiches and put the chips on the sandwich and
absolutely
eat it like that. Those are delicious, man. Yeah. So you know what? If Hook and Danhausen wanted to present me with a bag of chips, I would be Mahookhausen.
Oh, I can award him? What can I award him for that comment?
You can award him as being like a super top fan commenter thing.
That was insightful.
Insightful. Yes, that was good. Yay. You get an award. You get an award.
I didn't know we could do that. Oh, yeah. More people are getting... You're going to start getting awards.
Everyone's getting an award.
Well, not everyone, but if you give us a good comment, we get some awards.
No, we have to give everyone an award because otherwise we would make people feel bad.
All right, so we'll give your wife for her Anime is Life, we'll give her the award of Nailed It.
Nailed it. Yes, we'll go for that. Yes, nailed it.
All
you
right.
got nailed, hun. Ha 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 ha.
So back to Dan Lambert having a mic and calling Ty Conti names. You have Sammy taking a hammer to the belt and destroying it.
What is happening here? This is so lost all over the place.
Who's the bad guy this week?
Well, not only that, like, this is another WWE almost thing of, like, Tony Khan has said he fucked up and didn't realize how hated people like Sammy, people like Ty. People did not like them together as a thing because they looked like Carmella and Corey Graves almost, okay? Because they're like literally teenagers in love, okay? But he hasn't redirected like he normally sometimes does of like, all right, let's change this real quick.
The match happened. You could move out of it by now.
Yeah, the match happened. And then also on top of that, your fan base that is the 25 to 35 male is cheering the guy who's calling a girl a whore. Problem. How do you fix that? You have the guy whose woman is being called a whore not take a hammer to this old fat motherfucker's head. No, he takes it to the title belt. Why? Don't know. So that way he could show him.
We've had a red one and we've had a green one. I wonder what color the new one will be.
I'm sorry. If you call my wife a whore, I am fucking you up. Plain and simple. I don't care if you're Dan Lambert and you are the founder of American Top Team. I don't know what your actual martial arts credentials are. You look like an old pasty fuck to me. I am whooping that ass. You're going to have to send one of your legit badass like George Masvidal down to fucking club punch me like he did to Colby Covington. Call my wife a whore. Fucking Sammy Guevara. The man is getting... How many people's in that building? 2,000? 1,800?
Yeah.
1,800 people just called your woman a whore because of that guy. And your revenge against him is to go, thanks, guy.
I Like I said, I didn't see this, but I read all about it, and I'm like, what the hell?
No.
So then we go to backstage to Britt Baker and Toni Storm, who is... I am not excited about this match.
I am. I think this will be fine.
I hope so.
I think this will be great. The only thing disappointing that I have about this is that Toni Storm's OnlyFans is not safe for work content.
Well, the other unfortunate is we're not going to be able to see this match. I believe this match is going to be on their pay-per-view.
Oh, I can find it.
Obviously.
Yeah, we can watch
So then we finish up the show with Moxley and Danielson versus Dante and Seidel for 12 minutes. This show had more wrestling per capita than any show, as it usually does.
And it's a 1 hour show. However, though, if we're going to talk about format, let's look at this.
Yes.
Once again, match, stare down. We just had that.
Yes.
Backstage, 2-minute match. Talking, backstage, 9-minute match. Run in, recap, promo, backstage.
Well, it's going to happen. I get it. It's all going to happen.
Yes.
I didn't see anything about this match, so I can't comment on it. Obviously, we all know that Danielson and Moxley won. Did they do the thing where they tap them out at the same time, like they have been?
You know, now that you say it, I don't know if I finished that match.
And then there were shenanigans at the end when the JAS ran in.
I don't know if I finished that match.
Huh. Well, I know I didn't.
Yeah, I don't think I finished it. Huh, okay. Yeah,
So
I don't
I
remember how it ended.
I don't have rumors this week because all of the rumors have to do with one subject.
Which is sad because there's probably it's like the government. There's probably a whole bunch of other shit happening that we forgot about while Will Smith smacked a motherfucker on TV and we're all like, ooh, look at that. Be like, ignore the fact that they fucking passed this bill or didn't pass this bill or did anything. Let's look at Will Smith doing this or Johnny Depp getting shit on by Amber Heard.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. Final thoughts for the pro wrestling world of the week. I will reiterate and say it again because I think it needs to be said, okay? If it's fake, it was awesome. If it's real, it's fucked up, but it worked and it's important. Why? Because something real happened on a show that wasn't supposed to happen potentially. Whether it's fake or not. If it is something that's real that you turn into fake, great. If it was all a work all the time, Vince, you're smarter than all of us, okay? Or whoever pitched this is smarter than all of us. Probably Mercedes, I would imagine at this point. Maybe Naomi. The question is was all this done so that way Naomi could get out of it and go join the Bloodline? Don't know. Maybe. Whatever.
That was the
See
plan.
what happened. You know, she might split over to there. We might get Solo Sikoa, whatever. Bloodline's growing. They've already said they're growing. They have said it. The Bloodline has actually said they are expanding the Bloodline. Why? Because Roman's going to go away. But what I'm getting at is real shit happened this week in wrestling. Or people said real things about shit that we know about that made the show better. When people did sports entertainment, it sucked. Except for
JAS doing sports entertainment shit.
But it was real.
Right.
It worked. Fuck you for fucking up LA Knight.
Next week we're gonna do
Max Dupree.
So next week I plan on bringing we'll do some the stuffs. We'll talk about ratings. We're gonna talk about what's going on with the tag teams. But for now, as always, I am Joey. This is Mike. Thanks for watching, guys.